What's going on, everybody? Cali Death Podcast back once again, episode 25. After a somewhat chaotic 9-person podcast last week, we thought it'd be nice to just bring one person in. And who better to bring in than Greg Burgess from Allegaeon, old homie of Riley. Riley's a previous person that's been on the podcast, member of his band, and we're here to talk some fucking metal. What's going on, guys? Oh, didn't even intro the resident homies. Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
Casey, Joel, and Joseph. What's going on to you guys as well?
Hello. Hi.
That was professional. When before you said stop, you're like, you know what? And then Anthony's gonna do this. We're like, really? I was enraptured. That's why I just.
Yeah, good. I think I might be getting better at it. I don't know.
That was good.
I just got to get it rolling.
I see it, and that's good because it was so chaotic last week. I got bumped for them.
You got bumped for them?
I got bumped for them. I was supposed to go last week, but they're
oh, man.
Cryptopsy's coming in. I was like, well.
Oh, you got bumped. Yeah.
Okay.
You understand. I'm just kidding.
No. It is Cryptopsy, so,
For me, this is just like, oh, I FaceTime Greg.
It's like, cool, man. You get royalty and we'll get trash next week.
No way, dude. Not at all, dude.
You got number 25, dude.
No, that's right. I'm just at a nice, simple number. So when you guys get to like 100, I'll be one of the cornerstones.
There you go.
Yeah.
This is basically just an excuse to FaceTime Greg like we do all the time anyway. So,
except I'm prepared. I'm up. You didn't call it 4 a.m. or something.
Carrie has a knack for calling you. Carrie has a knack for calling you at inopportune times, correct?
Oh yeah, dude, and it's always about returning videotapes.
Dude, I got the same voicemail.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it. I'm gonna cue it up. I didn't delete it.
Dude, it's always please be kind and rewind. You have videotapes. We would, at some little mom and pop shop.
What was the movie that you haven't returned to his mom and pop VHS?
I don't know off the top of my head, so I'm just gonna be. It was Deep Blue.
Deep Blue. I think. What was mine?
See the shark one? I don't know.
Good Will Hunting.
Oh, nice.
At least that's why I was gonna I'm testing you, Carrie. Just make sure that you fucking change your material every time you prank call these motherfuckers.
Well, me and him used to back in the day, like when I lived in Sacramento, we used to, whenever we got like really drunk, we used to call each other and leave like telemarketer messages saying that we were so and so from, and then he kind of evolved it into the video thing. But it used to be like pizza, like your pizza's waiting, we're outside, I don't know, like stuff like that. And then it's kind of evolved to this like specific, like Blockbuster fucking like return your tape. Dude, kind of thing.
I'm gonna get hammered one time and I'm gonna call you saying, hi, this is Circuit City. We heard that you like totally, I don't know.
You could say it.
You're the hero at Circuit City. The hero of Circuit City. That's how Joel is in my phone. Joel, the hero of Circuit City Hornet.
Hero. No matter what, dude, he could save you from anything.
Man.
Was that Joel? You didn't invite someone to a party because they were super annoying or some shit?
Yeah, okay. So
I stepped in it. It's like, no, this is getting edited.
It might not. Well, there's a guy that was invited to a Circuit City party, those work parties back in like 2007, 8. I mean, before that, and like no one wanted him to come, and then he showed up with like a 6-pack of Corona. I was like, I can outdrink you, motherfucker. I was like talking shit to us, and we're like, oh, this guy sucks. He had 3 Coronas, started vomiting, and then was passed out on the bathroom floor. And maybe I should just stop the story there. But anyways, he got
Why? Dude, you haven't even said anything incriminating yet, dude.
So I was peeing.
No. Let this be an ad lib. All right. So you don't get in trouble, but then we can just make up your story. So his nuts just appeared on this guy's forehead. Like, we don't know if that's true, but it could be.
Allegedly. But dude,
okay, I'll tell the real story. Okay, so I was 7 sheets to the wind. We drank like a fifth of whiskey between me and someone else, and we're just like fucking insanely drunk. He's like, his face is right next to the toilet, and I'm peeing, and then my friend someone goes, piss on his face, and I just moved my wiener over for a second and splashed him in the face, and then everyone found out.
City.
Yeah. And then everyone found out at work, and all the managers knew, and everyone knew. And they would just come up to me. One of the managers would come up to me every single day I worked. He'd come up to me, put his hand on my shoulder, and just go, and then walk away, like, because he knew it's like a fireable offense, like that happened. But he was just like, we hate him too, but Jesus Christ, man, like.
So
Okay,
everybody knew except for him, or did he end up finding?
He
out
didn't
too?
know. I mean, he might have known. I don't know.
Dude,
that was
shows
one of
that
those.
people really do hate you, dude. If nobody's gonna be like, hey, dude, you got pissed on.
No.
your face
Everyone
last
had me.
night."
That's why I was the hero of Circuit City. Is like I actually pulled the trigger. No one else wanted to do it, and I fucking stepped up to the plate. And I felt horrendous about it the next day. But it was one of those things where
I thought you were about to say I felt heroic, dude.
No, it was done. There was nothing I could. It was one of those I
Triumphant.
remember. I wasn't blacked out. I remember. Like
Don't
I have
put
no
it in
excuse.
Past tense. You are the hero of Circuit City. You can feel all bad because you're in public on a podcast, but the rest of us can like hold you up. Dude, this would be like a bar mitzvah. You'd just be on the chair. Hero of Circuit City.
I can't believe I told that story on here. Then I'm going to request it does not get edited.
There you go.
All right, there it is. You heard it.
So Greg,
Team
Left
sports.
it with the balls thing, man. Mine was way tamer.
but I don't. But my balls, like I don't. I feel weird that my balls physically touch someone. Is something that didn't happen. So I'd rather pee touch them than
So
like
you're
my
you're like,
balls.
oh, since my
This is going to be the best podcast you guys have ever done.
It's just a preference. Some people would rather
no,
put their
I
balls
think that's
on
great,
people.
dude. Greg coming in with the ball thing pushed it out of you, dude. We had to get the real scoop because you knew you didn't want people knowing that your scrotum was on some other man's nose.
Yeah, I know.
dude.
That's you actually pushed it out of me because I'd rather people know that I just peed on his face for a second than my balls were on his face. Because I didn't have the balls thing is not that's not my style at all. I'm more of like an upper decker pee on people's face style.
Oh man,
Anyways.
this style is so amazing.
So, Greg, when did you start playing guitar, dude?
What?
When did you start playing guitar?
That was the worst segue I've ever fucking heard, dude.
Oh, you think I actually want to go there? No, I want to stay in this and make Joel feel shitty more.
No, I love Joel. No feeling shitty. He's the hero. It's a heroic.
I don't care how
story.
you learn how to play guitar, dude. I just want to hear more pee stories from Joel.
Oh my Lanta.
To play guitar. I don't know. 1991. This is a long time ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. But
He looks very young, but he's a few. He's got
that's
a
a
few
good
years on us.
fucking. That's a good chunk of time to be playing the axe.
Yeah. I have stock in Just for Men. This is not natural, everyone.
Oh, dude, that's the best
Nice.
looking
Looks
setup I've seen.
Thanks.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Look like Gandalf normally. So
There's nothing wrong with that.
no.
No, but
So-
how we usually do it with these is we take us back to high school and shit. That's how I always say, take us back to when the shit started getting real. I don't want to hear just tell me about like what made you decide you were gonna pick that thing up and actually learn how to play.
It's super weird, dude, because like I did research before I knew I was coming on, which I'm so stoked to be here because when I saw you guys were doing this, I was like, oh, I wish I was from Cali. I could be on their thing. And then
I know we call it that's another explanation that we have to do. Like everybody hears Cali Death, they think we're only gonna stick to Cali Death. Like,
but you guys got so many bands, you literally could.
yeah,
Just
could,
don't
but-
make me feel less special. I feel really special. Let's just go.
Hell
with
yeah,
it.
dude.
I'm special. I'm not from California, and they let me on. That's
Yes.
how
Honorary
Seriously.
California. Exactly. Yeah.
Seriously, yeah.
Yeah.
You got dual citizenship today.
Fuck yeah. Oh yeah.
Guitar stuff.
Yeah, right. So when I did my research, and I was shocked at how much me and Trevor had in common on our upbringing. We diverted a little later, but one of us is famous and one of us is the trash that gets bumped for. I live to make Joe laugh. Okay. Yes. So I'm from Washington, D.C. And I grew 79, born in 79. So the 80s when Guitar Solo was king, that was where I came up in. And then the 90s happened in high school, and that was the darkest fucking period of my life. And Nirvana and the grunge era just ruined my world. So,
In a good way?
over dramatic. No, it was horrible, man. No, it sucked. It was like when you're reading like in Guitar World that like Kurt Cobain is the best guitarist in the land. You're just like, oh,
I can see how
I'm
that's
done.
happening, yeah.
Fuck this. Yeah. So I started guitar in 1991 in junior high. We had at Lake Braddock in Northern Virginia, they had a guitar class, and I flunked out.
How do you flunk out, by the way? I'm not saying that to be funny. I want to know what flunks you out of a guitar class.
I mean, you just got to be able to read music and all that, and keep rhythm and all that stuff, and yeah, flunked out. But I loved it so much. I kept coming back. I was like that guy that just like keeps running into the wall, the brick wall. That was me, the guitar, and yeah, I just loved it. So, yeah, this is not a very entertaining story. That's why I was dreading you asking this.
Well, no, then you got to keep progressing. Like, so when did it start like clicking with you? What bands were you trying to emulate when you played? Like, what were your favorite songs to cover? Like all that shit, dude.
I mean, it was, back then we had the big four,
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was basically a thrash kid. Megadeth was always my band. And I'd fight Metallica guys.
No
And,
shit.
guitar nerdery, right? Which is so weird in hindsight, this whole Megadeth thing. But yeah, so like grew up like Overkill, like just a thrash guy, and then got into Dream Theater super hard, and then it just became like this big prog and thrash thing, and that's basically, and then like Risk came along, and then I was like, fuck everything, right? I just like didn't know, I had no clue, the internet wasn't what it is today by far.
Mhm. Yeah.
So finding bands, like I hear, I've heard Carrie and Joel on like podcasts always talk about like them finding bands and shit. I'm just like, that's nuts. Because for me, it was like going to the record store and what album cover looked cool. That's
such
what
a
it
common
was.
thing for the guys. I mean, I'm a few years older than you, but it's just such a
Younger.
common theme with all these fucking episodes and all these guests. It's like we all like did the same thing to find all the shit that we listened to. Most of it, just doing the same thing, going
Right
off
on
the
the-
fucking CD covers and all that shit.
Yeah. What did someone, suggest? Like someone said something about, God, I don't even remember what band it was. Probably Deicide. And that sent me down the death metal rabbit hole was Deicide.
Hmm.
So, but it wasn't like, it was extreme, so I dug it. It wasn't one of those things where it was just like, oh, I don't get it. For me, it was like, oh, dude, it's like more brutal. I'm into it. But that didn't last very long because I was mostly into like prog, but it was just like the anger that made me cool with all that stuff. But
Mhm.
Deicide is still one of my favorite bands of all time. So it was like, you get into Carcass and Deicide, and I think like Bruhera back in the day was like on a sampler. So that's what we had. It was, and I think that's the first time we heard Fear Factory too. So it was like getting into death metal wasn't, I'm like, compared to most people I find in the scene, I'm like a complete novice with this shit because I didn't really follow the death metal thing after a while, and it's for no other reason than I just didn't.
Yeah.
So,
What?
but
You mentioned Risk. Is that the Megadeth album?
yeah,
What did you mean by that? Like, I is that like a big thing in their career that changed
we
their
signed
audience or
it to
something?
Roadside Records. You bought it, and you're like, my favorite band. Just like suck the whole. All right, get it out. Then you just threw it out the window. Like
Okay.
I saved up all my money this week for this piece of shit. Roadside.
Mm.
I have signed you to Roadside Records.
Okay.
I mean, it's the same thing as like I was super into like Arise and stuff, and then Chaos.
Yeah.
I hated Chaos AD because it was like I just thought it was like, why is there so much like newscasting on there? There's so much like, they had so much sampling on it, and I was too young to get it. So it's just like, I hate this. And then Roots came out, and I just was absolutely appalled.
I fucking worked for that guy who drummed on Risk, Jimmy DeGrasso.
Yeah,
at his drum shop.
Nice. He seems like a nice guy.
We had like the Risk, like I'd be like working at the drum desk, and it was like all those like records like framed behind it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like I like Risk now. It was at the time, right?
Yeah.
That's not what you wanted. That's not what you wanted from that band. Like it was a like well written record. There's some really good songs on it, but just not. It's not a thrash record, and that's what you expected. So,
totally
young and dumb, and there's so many things that I hated in my youth that now I'm like, oh, cool, whatever. Like I don't hate grunge now that I'm old, but back then I was just like, this is the worst shit I've ever. Why are we championing people that are just like shit musicians? And that was just like how it was. But
yeah,
Joel, you got any on that, dude?
Oh, no, I was going to go into the Sepultura. I kind of reverse engineered Slayer and Sepultura kind of that way. Chaos AD was the first one I got into. And then I found out about Arise and then Beneath the Remains. And
I thought you were going to talk about your grunge connections.
I don't really have, I mean, I like Alice in Chains.
They
kind
were
of
the
like
exception, though.
Yeah.
They were heavy. Like Dirt was heavy, and they were super talented. So like, yeah, they're part of that, but you'd never like, I don't know. It's all subjective anyway. Music is, but they never fit that for me because I'm like, oh, they're super talented. Look at all those vocal harmonies. Like they're sick.
They just came out at the same time. They happened to come out at the same time as Nirvana and stuff.
But it's just like if I had to hear Jeremy spoken one more goddamn like I was gonna lose my mind. Anyway. But yeah, you're just dumb youth anger, and then it came time to like, hey, what are you gonna do with your life? I was like, well, I'm gonna be a rock star. And they're like, yeah, good luck with that, pick one, classical or jazz. So I just went the classical route.
Yeah, that's actually where I was gonna go pretty soon, was to see where the classical aspect came in. Yeah, I could definitely hear it in a lot of Allegiant stuff. So,
yeah, I mean, I like, there was always like the Randy Rhoads stuff, and like on Morbid Visions, they had some like kind of classical stuff, and then, Overkill always had, like, everybody had that acoustic interlude or something on their albums back in the day.
There's a whole Ulver album. You know the band Ulver? I can't pronounce the name of the album, but they did a full complete classical album back when they were young. But I know, and like, to bring up something that's brand new, even though we're back in the past right now, I've recently checked out that newer music video of you just sitting in a field and playing the acoustic guitar.
Oh, okay.
I'm not bringing up as the first example of your music, but I'm just saying this is off in the classical conversation. Yeah, that was what I was feeling, was the same, vibes that I would get from listening to that Ulver album. That's all I was going to say.
Oh, sick. No, yeah. I just like, anytime anybody brings that up, I'm just ready to be like destroyed.
No, dude, you're on a podcast with guys that like a lot of different shit, so you're good here, dude. I don't know about who's going to listen to this right now, but
no, I mean, sick, like, dude. even all the stuff that I talk trash on, I'm just like, who the fuck am I? But like, most of it is just young and dumb stuff. But the anger was so potent in my youth that it kind of like trickled down throughout my whole life until I've mellowed as an adult.
Was it just overflow of testosterone, or just
dude? It was just pissed off about everything. It was like, being forced to go to Catholic school, get kicked out of all the fucking classes, like getting kicked out of class because I had a deicide record, and getting kicked out of the class because the priest is an idiot and tripped over your foot. I mean, like, I was in the principal's office so many times, and I'm just like, dude, I just want to do my work and go home and play guitar. Like, I don't care. I'm not a troublemaker. I swear. Just leave me the fuck alone. This is what it was just like a prison sentence. It was like, get in, keep your head down, get done, and get the fuck out. That was my high school experience. When you brought up high school, I was like, oh, let's not talk about it.
No, I wasn't gonna ask me like, what was your favorite
dude.
class, dude? Like, who was your favorite teacher?
Yeah.
Like,
dude,
What
I
did you
don't
write your college essay on? Yeah.
oh man, if you're asking who's my favorite, dude, I don't remember any of my teachers.
no, I don't really want to know. I'm just fucking around. Dude.
Okay.
No, let's move away from let's move you as furthest away from high school as you want to go, dude.
Yeah, it's fine. Just to college, and then doing the classical thing, and it was all just like all I wanted to do was be in a band, but I thought
Were you taking classes in college and learning the classical stuff? Or were you just doing that on your own?
No, I mean I have a classical guitar degree, so
Nice.
all the class I was going for guitar, so it was all based on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then but my freshman year, I met my buddy Juan, he's the one who introduced me to like Swedish metal, because I had no clue. Like I was so just demoralized by what was going on in the US at this time, because it was like we had Risk, even if I liked Metallica like at the time, which Metallica's fine. Now that I'm old and not so angry, like Metallica, it's fine. But like back then, it was just like they had cut their hair, they were doing they were French kissing each other and their album covers and stuff. It's just like young dude full of piss and vinegar. I was just not having any of it. And so I was just so disenfranchised with metal at this point, because like it completely just like had let me down. And then someone handed me Something Wild by Children of Bodom and like The Jester Race, Old Man's Child, and Dimmu, and I was completely blown away because I had no clue this world existed. And we were just like, we always had this thing. It was like, if we didn't like something, we associated to LA because just the hair metal connotation, right? And it's like we had no problem. We were like, we blast Dokken and stuff like that. But like the shot was, it's like, oh, it's so LA because of that whole hair metal scene. And it was like what we associated with that was like, if you put keyboards in your stuff, it was not good. Like that was what possessed us to think that.
I thought the same thing. I went through the same thing.
Really? Okay, good.
When a band like, they went from straight just metal and then like, oh, we're gonna mix it up and throw in a fucking keyboard. Even people like were pissed off about Opeth Ghost Reveries when they put keyboard or organ in. People were like mad about it. It's like, and now it's like one of my favorite albums. Yeah.
Really? Oh man,
Yeah.
See that this is by the time Opeth came out, I had completely fallen off the boat of like what was what. my whole like music thing, it didn't seem so like sheltered and like backwards until probably I got into Allegaeon, and then I was exposed to all these bands. I'm like, oh wow, I don't know anything about anything. And because I was super into like Children of Bodom and like the Swedish death metal thing. So like Melodeath was where I kind of like hung my hat for the longest time, like Soilwork and all that stuff. That was kind of like where my development really kind of stopped as far as like seeking out bands, I would say. It's pretty bad, I know. Like I didn't hear about Necrophagist or hell. I mean, so honestly, I found out so many bands by listening to Joel and Carrie on the Aurelacast back in the day. Like I went through and I was like, I had never listened to Suffocation, and they were talking about Pierce from Within and like Opeth and Theory and Practice. Is that what it? Yeah, like all those bands, like I found out from these guys. I was so like out of it. And then and getting into Allegaeon, what other people like, what our other guitar player was listening to, like Arch Enemy and Nevermore. I had never heard Nevermore. Arch Enemy I had heard, but I'd only heard John Liva Arch Enemy?
Johan Liva, or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I was super into that, but I had never heard when Angela took over. I just So that was, eye-opening.
So in your time where you weren't, where you say you were disenfranchised, you were fucking not listening to metal.
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't
Not
that-
like you were not listening to metal. I'm sorry. You kind of were just like pushed off of what was happening that you're into, all the changes and shit. So that pushed you in a different direction. And you say you found death metal and stuff, but what was like your main shit that you listened to when you were doing the classical college classes?
It was really just like the Swedish, like In Flames and like early In Flames and Soil Work.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would go back. I mean, it's like I got into Machine Head a little bit. But that was like a rocky relationship too, because I love Burn My Eyes, and then the next couple of albums were just super weird, like for me. And then there was the whole rap thing that they did, like the new metal thing, and I just, I couldn't get into that stuff at all. All new metal, like that whole genre, just was like, it's like they took all the good parts that I loved and threw them away and kept the parts that I didn't care about and added a whole bunch of other stuff that I fucking hate. So I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I feel like such a negative.
No,
dude.
It's all good, dude.
Greg doesn't like anything.
What's hilarious to me is that
metal.
both Joel and I were, part of that quick little blip of that first wave of new metal. That was our age.
I just missed it, dude.
It's more our age, like born in 84, 85.
I was
something like
83, so
yeah. Like that was
like
like
a
that
year
hit,
late.
like that peaked at the teenage angst, like was
Yeah.
my hormones were
I
at
was
the perfect spot for that.
14,
Like,
15 years
Yeah,
old.
exactly.
like I liked Korn, and then it just after that, no, that's it.
Oh, see,
I totally missed it all. Yeah.
Still to this day, I have a really hard time. But
Oh yeah, no, for sure, it's all good.
it's super weird because it is like what you get into at what point in your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
I mean,
There's
so
only
like,
a
for
few
me, It
records.
was like I'm gonna go listen to Halloween and do like this like weenie kind of like power metal thing because I'm like, at least they're playing fast, and
Halloween's awesome, dude.
I love Halloween. Now I'm so happy what's going on in that camp right now.
Do you like Gamma Ray? I'm sure.
I never really get into them.
Really? Yeah.
I was just like, oh, it's the guy from Halloween, except it's just not as good as Halloween. That's always how I felt.
It's not Keeper of the Seven Keys.
It's
or
not
whatever.
Keeper of the Seven Keys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Music is subjective for everyone.
Have you ever heard of this band? I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They're called Iron Maiden.
No.
They're kind of underground, dude. I don't know.
Did they ever have? Did they have an influence on you, Iron Maiden?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's where you kind of learn harmonies.
Yeah.
From, like my age group, that's where we learned. It was like, oh, what are they doing? Oh, they're playing those shapes. Okay.
Mhm.
Right.
For
And
me,
then
it was,
you saw what like Death did, and they're like, oh, they're harmonizing, but it's different. And then you go, rip that apart and find out, oh shit, fourths and fifths and
It's kind of a guitar rite of passage to learn Hallowed Be Thy Name, and all the harmonies. And like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like a music
I remember
lesson.
being 13 and like figuring out the Trooper, like how to do both parts at the same time, like slower than, and that was like, oh my god, like sixths, like that was.
Or you
sick.
didn't know how to like really, you didn't understand it was two people playing it, and you're like, I don't know how the fuck this is going.
Yeah.
there's some, I mean, for me and Carrie, I think the first harmony we ever figured out was when we figured out that Slayer just did that fourth harmony that was just right under the string. We're like, dude, it's just right under. We can harmonize everything.
Yeah, right. It's just right under. Yeah. Just play the same thing up a few frets or whatever.
Yeah.
Just like do it on the power chord note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's those fourth and fifths, dude. Those are the
Exactly. Yeah, that was a game changer. Once you're sitting with a friend and you first hit a harmony and you
You're
first you're like, what? It sounds like the room just fills up with like just love.
Mhm.
Or it's like the first time you accidentally hit a pinch harmonic and you're like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
yeah.
I just discovered a new way of playing guitar. Like,
Yeah. Oh man.
Man, I don't know, man. How people like developers, it's so weird.
I know this is going way too far back in the conversation, but on the finding albums in the record store thing, I got this Behemoth shirt. I can't really get the logo to come out, but It reminds me, this is the Demigod shirt, and my friend bought the Demigod album because it had a sticker advertising that Carl Sanders had a guest solo on the album Demigod. And that was like reason enough to buy an album back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Stickers like for fans of,
For
and you
fans
get like,
of.
you get like 3 to 5 bands or whatever.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, like a guest
I
spot.
may add that we could probably see your shirt if it didn't look like you were in a cave.
I'm getting some serious shade thrown on my visuals right now.
I think
I'm just not prepared for it. Dude.
I think you're
Wait,
literally
you
getting
threw your
back,
own
dude.
shade, bro.
I
You
couldn't
threw your
let
own
it pass.
shade
I'm sorry.
in the room.
I know it sucks because this shirt is super sick. And
Yeah, that black
shout out
shirt's
to,
super cool, dude.
Third Eye, I know, right? Third Eye Records in Long Beach. They got some sick shit. Go check it out. All right,
Rock and roll, McDonald's.
rock and roll McDonald's.
Like I feel so bad for busting your balls, dude.
It's fucking
Yeah.
hilarious.
Well, since your room is so nicely lit, how's that? Is that the Dream Theater?
It's because
in the
I'm
back?
so old. It's I if I don't have light, I'm just wandering in a sea of darkness.
Is that the Dream Theater vinyl back there?
Yeah.
Okay. Fuck
Yeah,
yeah.
Petrucci actually signed that. That was a gift. I've never even opened it. I just keep it up there.
So we don't have to talk about this. We can edit this out. But is it true? I mean, you've told me a little bit. I don't
Here
know
we go.
about the about you having like an opportunity to play for Megadeth. An opportunity.
I don't think that's accurate. I was suggested to replace Chris Broderick
Oh my goodness.
by Chris Adler, but I didn't even get an audition. I want to
Okay.
be very clear on this because I don't even think it's like for myself that's cool, but in the grand scheme of life, it's not a thing.
Still a
Yeah.
fun story.
I know it is a fun story, but we all have those like
Oh yeah, I know Anthony's.
opportunities, and I've had a few of them, and they sound awesome in my head, but they never fucking happen, so it doesn't matter,
I mean,
and it was it was me making the decision because it was at a time in my life that I couldn't make it work because it would have been taking a lot of me,
Yeah.
and it would have been a fucking great
The
thing, but it's just
suffocation thing. Well, we're cutting all this out anyways.
oh, are we?
No, don't cut it out. Don't cut it out.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I got that opportunity as well, but
Oh,
I found out 3 days later that I was having my first child. And
No,
they,
yeah,
they
that's-
toured a lot at that time, so
yeah, no,
it would have been super cool to fucking at least do the demo. It would have been that Blood Oath song. That's what I was
Dude.
gonna be doing. It would have been cool, dude. I even hit up Zach. I was like ready, and then I found out 3 days later,
Oh, fuck.
it wasn't gonna work.
Yo, let's just do that, dude. I'll play all this stuff. You just sing on it, dude.
Dude, I'd love to do that song. That song actually kind of
That song
sounds
slaps.
super easy. Like the straightforward fucking. Yeah.
It's pretty slow. Yeah. But Mike Smith kills it.
Yeah, dude. So yeah,
So
but
why
those
did you turn down
opportunities.
Megadeth? Greg?
Dude, so it's super funny. Like when I got the text, I'm like, I'm working at a gas station. Like, what are you fucking talking? Like when Chris hit me up, he's like, dude, I have something to tell you. I was like, are we going on tour, dude? Like, because that would be awesome. And he's like, no. I'm like, oh, cool. and then he wasn't allowed to tell me, so he like vaguely told me, and then I just threw up a lot. But I was already cleaning the gas station, so it was easy to mop up. And then and then I remember I called Carrie because I was freaking out, and I was like, you know what, like, it's my favorite band. It's a weird thing, man. It's like I don't want to be in my favorite band. It's
Kind of weird, right?
That's a weird thing. It's like I don't see myself in that, and I also kind of felt like if I did it, I mean, of course, like if they like, hey, come audition, of course, like I'd be stupid not to do it, right? But I kind of felt like I would be disingenuous to myself in a way. Like, you know what? I would rather fail trying to do my own thing than do that. Like for me, I would just be like, I feel like I'm just in a cover band, and Like, yes, I'm in like the band responsible for me doing anything, but I would have just felt bad. It's like I need to succeed or fail on my own terms.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be, and like I remember having this like huge crisis to carry on the phone, and he's just like, that's a rough one. But I don't even remember what he said. I was too freaking out. I was literally
That was a pretty good
around in the
carry.
grass outside my
Impression.
apartment, going, I can't, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not a good
Yeah.
story. Like,
No, but I understand what
yeah,
you're saying. 'Cause
yeah,
even if it is Megadeth, it's like you're in a situation as an artist who likes to create and you're not contributing to the project that you're doing it. And it would take up, all your time if it was fucking them, so it's like, where are you going to be able to actually do your output?
I mean, that's the thing. Allegiant is so sick. Like, I'm so glad we have so much more Allegiant than.
Oh yeah. Me too.
Oh.
I mean, for me personally, I'd rather you just do Allegiant, but I mean, didn't Kiko definitely wrote some stuff though, right? You'd still have some writing.
Kiko was perfect. Because we played with Megadeth like shortly after that. We did. It was super odd because then we did a headlining tour with all the dudes that just quit Megadeth. We did Act of Defiance.
Oh, that's right.
And then they told me 10 years of horror stories, and then people. I'm going to be very careful about my next words. People within the Megadeth camp calling for help from certain people that were no longer in Megadeth when I was standing right there, and like,
wow.
the rumors are true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the other reason. It's like, dude, you don't want to meet your hero. You just don't. But let's keep it at afar, and then you don't have to like go through that.
You just judge them on their
Yeah, on their work that meant so much to you. Don't.
Yeah. No,
invite
I agree with that. I mean, to an extent, there's times where you run into people and you can't avoid it either, though, too. But luckily, when that's happened with me, they've been good people. I've actually met I've met one dude that could have just been having an odd night. But yeah, it's like that's another thing too, is just catching people on a certain day.
Yeah.
They could be dealing with a bunch of bullshit that you're never gonna know about because you don't know them personally, anyways. But humans can sometimes fuck up and take it out on a random person.
Yeah.
But
I've never. Anytime I've met any of my other heroes, they've been like super awesome. But
yeah,
there has been times I've been that's why I'm so thankful that Greg, you feel so highly of me as a person, because I'll tell Greg like, I really like this new band, blah blah, blah, and he'll be like, I met him, bunch of assholes.
I don't remember saying that.
No, I mean, there was none of. I mean, you didn't say it like that, but you're like, yeah, they're kind of dicks. I don't know. And I was like,
yeah,
I don't like him as much anymore now. That's another funny thing in with metal. You have the music, but there's also like, it's very important to be cool to a metalhead that listens to your music. That's a very, like, that could make or break. It doesn't matter how good your music is. A group of people will stop listening to you because Yngwie's an asshole. You know what I mean? Just like there's the main guy or something's like an asshole, and then you're like, then that kind of spreads around. And I have friends that are in the metal camp community that are known as that asshole, and then I love. And then it kind of just like what Anthony's saying, having a bad day, someone's having a bad day or something like that happens, and then they're forever ruined in a group of like 14 teenagers.
What's even worse is when you've been that asshole too, and then it's like, oh my god, like anytime we've toured with Entheos twice, and I was eating like all the shit, and I always felt bad. I was like, oh. And then the one time we were going to tour with Entheos, when like I had my head screwed on right, COVID happened, and I was like, oh man, I was looking forward to apologizing. So I'm sorry, I was such a shithead. Everything was fucked.
That's what it is, dude. It's just like, I mean, I'm going to extend that point again. It's like there's so many people that I've heard heard that they're shitty people, and then I meet them, and I, like Joel was saying, I fucking love them. You know,
Yeah.
I never get any of the vibes that people have said. So it's all interpretation, it's all timing, it's all everybody's mood in that interaction, and then they part from that, and then they have a solid, you know, assumption of who that person is from that point forward, you know?
Yeah. And being in a band is hard. It sucks. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
It's
not,
definitely tough.
it's you're, you know, it's a rough life. So it's hard to kind of deal with anybody, you know?
I think death metal is like no one's super rich. Like it's a nice level to meet people in death metal. Anything above that in like, you know, more popular metal or any kind of music, the celebrity that starts to become more of a thing. But metal, everyone's like pretty chill. Like there's not those like standout like
That's why when you
egos.
meet the egos in death metal, you're like, Jesus, man, you made $36,000 last year. Like, like,
Yeah, like, you're yeah.
and you're like on top of the game, you know, like
Yeah. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, no one should have such a crazy like, yeah. So anyway,
We're also like grown men going around the earth, like yelling at you. Like,
yeah. Well, I guess like doing this podcast, I've like met so many fucking like Cryptopsy last week, like so many of these fucking guys.
they're so
that
good. They're like, I joke, I got bumped for good. They're the nicest dudes. They're
they're
so
good.
nice.
Super
We-
nice.
We played with them a couple times, and it's always been such a pleasure.
And that's
Yeah.
kind of my point.
We're
Yeah, is
always
that
like salt of the earth guys.
yeah, this is the cool level of like cool stardom to be getting to meet these people and so on. Yeah. So you wanna run us through like the founding of Allegaeon and how the band got going?
I mean, sure. I moved to Colorado to get my master's, like in 2006, 2007, and then my first order of business, I wanted to either go to CSU because the guitar department down there is fantastic. Like all my favorite guitar players, classical guitar players, would like teach at
Is this the
CSU.
Boulder
So-
campus or the Fort Collins?
oh,
or
I'm sorry.
Denver?
I'm getting my University of Southern California. I got my
Oh, USC. Go.
USC. Sorry. Yeah, USC. Yeah. Whoops.
Subtle but important.
All together. Yeah. So USC. That's where I really wanted to go, but then I chose Colorado because I figured, like, dude, you want to be in a band. I feel like you have way more of an opportunity to stand out in a state that's a little like not so known for band stuff. So like I made that strategic decision to get my master's here in Colorado so that like when I did join a band, I would have a bigger shot of like doing what I do now. So it paid off, I guess. Yeah, so like I moved here, I moved to Fort Collins. And then was trying to go to school in Denver. And then I went to school, I went to the orientation for my master's program, and then I got the bill. And I did not realize I had decided to go to a private school. And I was like, oh, wow, everything that I saved up for grad school was gone in a semester. So I was like, I'm not taking a school loan out to go get a master's in classical guitar. I will like, it just sounded like a bad idea. So quit going to school, started working at Target, and then just tried to get into a band. Like that was all I wanted to do anyway. Like the classical thing was my fallback plan. Like I really wanted to be in a band. So could not get an audition to save my life from any band. No band wanted. So I got fed up and I was like, fine, I'll start my own band. And then the day after that I met with the singer, this band Allegiance called me that their guitar player did something. He stole a car and fled the state. Texas.
I thought you were gonna say like broken arm or something
No,
like that.
no,
dude.
I don't even remember. Like, I don't even remember the guy's name. I remember he was a killer guitar player. Yeah, he did something.
Remember he was a
I
killer.
remember it involved stealing a car and fleeing the state. And then so they were looking for someone to fill in for a couple shows. And I was like, oh, well, I'm definitely interested. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. I wanted to go be in like, I wanted to go the Dream Theater Yes route. And that was kind of where my brain was going. Like, I wanted to go into the prog rock, prog metal way. That was what I wanted to do. And then it turned out to be this death metal band that played technical music. And I was like, well, that's a lot of fun. So I'm down, right? And then I remember just, you know, being a classical guitar player, where that is where my head was for so many years, that like I didn't know how to do all this technique stuff that they required. And I was like, okay, I'll learn it. That's kind of how it was. And I remember I went to the audition, and it was a song off our EP, The Weeds Will Prosper. And I remember going, hey man, if you just write it down, I'll be good. Just write it down and do it. And they're like, no, it's going to take way too long. My whole thing is like, dude, I can read anything, being just a classical musician. That's like where that's how my brain works. So, but they wanted me to do it all by my ears. And I remember it took us like 3 hours to get through one riff. And it was painful. And then they're just like, all right, we'll write out the rest of the song and come in the next day. And I just, as soon as he did it, it was like, it got super proggy, really odd times. And I just sat there and read it. And they're like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I told you, just write it down and I can play it. So that's how it went from then. But it was a cool experience, like doing an audition and doing the band stuff, but it was also kind of real painful. Just my background. I was incredibly immature just because I had done this classical kind of like thing, right? I had played gigs like in bands in high school and stuff, but I hadn't played like a real gig in so long. I was so green but I was super hungry too. That's all I wanted to do. So, they told me, actually, I ran into our original guitar player, I think it was last year, and they were like, yeah, dude, we're totally kicking you out. And I was just like, oh, that's funny because I'm the only one left. But yeah, they were totally gonna kick me out because I didn't have the chops. But I wanted it. So I just busted my ass and learned. I didn't know how to sweep pick. I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. And it was just like, cool, that's what we need to do. Fuck it. I know how to work on my instrument. So I just went to work. And then I improved so fast that became, well, that's stupid. Why would we kick him out? So, and then, that's really how Allegiant started. And then really interesting, our drummer at the time, I believe his name was Nick. I don't know his last name, but we wanted to go more of a death metal direction, and he couldn't do blast beats or all. And then like he was having a hard time. All he would do was draw, and he would never show up to practice. And so we were like, we're gonna have to fire this kid. He was super awesome. He was like a great guy. We didn't want to do it. And then he shows up one day. He's like, okay, after the next gig, I have to quit. I got a job for DC Comics drawing Batman. And we were like, get the fuck out of here. Like, go. It worked out. It was like perfect. And then, and then we changed our name we got a couple litigation letters from a couple different bands, like really close together, from other bands called Allegiance. So we just like threw vowels at the fucking board. And we never wanted to go through that bullshit again. So it's like, I don't know, make up something stupid. So we got the name Allegiant because it's stupid and we didn't think anybody would ever want it. And
is it an actual word?
No.
Okay.
Complete gibberish.
Yeah,
I used to read it as Allegaeon.
Yeah, like it's great, man. A leggy blonde, alligator pie. I've heard it all. No one can spell it right. I love
God.
this.
Oh god. Yeah.
I have photos from everywhere. I'm like, I have two what is it, metal and hardcore festivals. We're spelled wrong on every single poster. I'm like, oh yeah, look at that. Ali GJ Gagon.
That's funny because I kept hearing your name, 2000, I don't know, 8 or 9, something like that, 8 or 9 or 10, and kept hearing the name, but then I would see the logo, and I didn't think that was the band I was hearing.
It doesn't look like anything.
Yeah.
I was thinking, like a Legion. Legion was in my head, so I was like, Legion. So
Yeah.
that's what I was looking for, and I never saw it. And people be like, "This band, a Legion," and I'm like, "Oh, what's Allegaeon is over there?" But what's up?
Well,
with
it sounds better that way than Allegaeon, Allegaeon.
Yeah.
However you want. I think someone called us Agamemnon, and oh yeah, that's sick.
That would be a sick name for sure.
Yeah, a leggy blonde. That was my favorite. I was like, fuck yeah, leggy blonde. That's the one. That's the band I'm in. Yeah.
So then you basically got the band together. The first album. When was the first album put together? Was that with that lineup after the drummer left for DC?
Okay, so yeah, man, it gets more complicated than that. Like I said, I was like pretty immature, and I was having major personality conflicts with members because I'm a neurotic mess. And it's so stupid thinking back. I was just like such a different person, back then. And yeah, I just had huge conflicts with our bass player at the time, and I'd had it. I was quitting. I was like, fuck this, I'm out. I didn't want to do it anymore. And we got my one of my closest friends, he's like, dude, I'm doing an internship with Century Media. If you can get me a recording, I'll hand it in. And then I was like, fuck. All right, well, I called up Ryan Glisson, our original guitar player. I was like, so here's the deal. Yeah. And I was like, you don't have to put any of my music on it. We'll just, do the thing. And he's like, no, we should put, he was actually cool about it. He was like, we should put some, one of your songs on there, which I didn't expect because literally I was out the door. I wasn't planning to do it. And then it just took off from there. So like it got the crowd started showing up. We were packing clubs here in Colorado. And then, we started handing the EP to everybody, sent it to Metal Blade. They told us to fuck off. And then they would call us every once in a while. Hey, what are you doing? Like, we're doing this and this and this. And they're like, cool. And that's it. And they kept checking on us. And our rep, he's not even like an artist relations guy over Metal Blade. He was doing like web stuff and everything. He just really liked the band, Vince Edwards. And so I think he got permission to sign us, but like we didn't even think about it because they told us, I think on 3 different occasions, they weren't interested. So it was just super supportive. So we're like, hey Vince, we'll fly out, come see a show. Cause he was just been so cool to us. And he walked off the plane. He's like, well, if we sign you, you're not getting any fucking money. And that was the first thing he said. And then, so we signed.
It's realistic.
What?
Super realistic. That's a realistic record deal.
Dude, I mean, it's like I was homeless. I was going through my first divorce. I didn't give a fuck. Like honestly, I was like, like the record industry at this time, this was 2009. Didn't know quite what to do with streaming, right? So it's like anytime the music industry had any format change, they'd always jumped on it, right? When it went from like 8 tracks to tapes to vinyl, whatever it was, they always were like, okay, it's a physical product, and they jumped on it. When it went to MP3s and streaming, they kind of didn't know kind of what to make of it or like how to like make a profit with it. So the record industry kind of like ignored it and turned their backs on it. Anyway, so at this time, it was kind of like the height of 360 deals, and like the industry was kind of in the toilet for the most part. And
Can you explain a 360 deal to people that?
Yeah, I don't know that.
360 deal, like the record company gets a cut of everything, your merch, like
360
from my
degrees.
understanding, yeah, everything that the band produces, they get a cut, right? So your guarantee, your merch, your
Okay.
and they of course they retain the rights to your music, and like Metal Blade never did that, so we were really fortunate in that. But the writing was on the wall, and we got signed to a development deal, right? Like a lot of bands at the time, it's like Metal Blade took a big risk on Allegaeon, right? And we were a handful of bands, and I think we're the only band left from that whole wave.
What is a development deal?
Where it's like it's not a very good deal. Like our deal is really trash, and it's 6 albums, right? So, it's where it's like they don't think. I mean, I'm gonna have to paraphrase because what they may say it is maybe different than how I interpret it. But it was like they were there to develop the band. They didn't think we were there. Like we weren't a product that they thought had legs, but they thought we had potential, right? So they did it as kind of a risk, and I think they did that to a lot of bands, and it's just like throwing bands at the wall and see what sticks.
And also, if I'm thinking about it in like the entertainment development deals as well, like for comedians and other shit, it's you can't work for anybody else under that deal either. So you may not be, they may be working on you developing, and then it could get to the end and they want out, but during that whole time you weren't allowed to do anything else under any other label. Maybe I don't know if it's the same as with music, but obviously like if Metal Blade's saying we're going to work on you, but then you guys are like, oh, we want to put an EP out independently, they'd be like, no, you can't do that while we're working on you.
I think that's about right. Like everything we do, they get, I think they own basically.
So I'm understanding because a development deal from what I heard previously, then maybe, so basically you already did sign for a certain amount of albums, but they called it a development deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was so gung ho at that point. Like I was living on people's floors. I was like, fine, dude, put us in a van. At least I know where I'll sleep. And yeah, I mean, it was, there's, when we signed, I don't want to say it was a rocky relationship because it wasn't, but you felt like no one gave a shit, right? That's just how you felt. Don't feel like that anymore. Like Metal Blade's been amazing to us, and like they already this is our last album with them, and they've already said we'll do right by you and everything like that. But it's kind of here nor there. I mean, I wish we didn't have to do 6 albums before we could get a good deal, but whatever. But like at some point you have to go, look, they took a risk, it paid off for them with us, but they take a risk on a lot of bands, and it didn't, nothing happened. And so it's you can't, is anything sure in music. One is you can't fucking compare yourself to any other of your peers. You just can't, because it will drive you nuts. And you just don't be jealous of like, that's the hardest thing, because you'll see. But I think that it'd be very easy for me to kind of be bitter about the whole situation, but I am not that way. I'm super grateful. Like everything I have is like, yeah, I don't like my whole business, my teaching business is all because of Allegiant. I feed myself because of Allegiant. I make a really good, living wage because of Allegiant. And the only reason I can do any of that is because of, Metal Blade.
I've taken lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want
Would
to
you
plug your
you want to
guitar
elaborate on that?
Oh yeah. So like I teach, right?
No, I mean Joel, elaborate on your lessons, dude.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, shut up, Greg. Let Joel talk.
so Greg teaches. No, we it was one of those late night calls that me and him have had over the years, and I was like, dude, I'll fucking sign up for 10 lessons right now. And I just like sent him like a bunch of money. And then like I was like,
showed up to 2 of them.
Showed up to 2 of them. No, but I was like, it was mostly like just fucking, I knew you were talking about like moving, which you never moved. So maybe I won't have those lessons back. But and just financially, you were like, going through some things, and I was like, dude, here's, I'm down to take lessons to help out. Like I'm super down. And they were fucking awesome. They just were like in the middle of my workday usually, and I was like, "Hey, I'm doing this wrong. I don't know." And like Greg's like, "Well, you suck. So next." I'm just kidding. No, you didn't say that. No, Greg's an awesome teacher, man. And you're probably. I have a coworker that actually wants to still. He keeps talking about you, but he hasn't ever hit you up. One of those guys. But yeah, but no, you're pretty booked, man. You have a lot of lessons, right? Like your calendar, I remember being pretty lengthy. Like you have a full schedule pretty much, right?
Yeah, it's awesome now because it's like I have Europe, mostly in the mornings, and then it's fine when I'm in Colorado, but it's like when I'm in Ottawa, I'm like, oh, I'm finishing at midnight because I have California students, but yeah, we kind of digress my point, but yeah.
Okay, you do very well with your lessons, and he is open for lessons if you guys need it. GregBurgess.com.
Yeah, we didn't do any plugs in the beginning. Definitely want you to plug that.
Oh yeah, I teach. There you go. Let me help you.
Type in Greg Burgess teacher. See how many of those guys you'd find. Mr. Burgess is out there.
Coupon code is Cali Death for 3%.
We should sponsor one student to take one lesson with Greg. That's what we should do, everybody. But
yeah,
probably not brainstorm live, but yes. Anyway,
I feel like I have like blabbed this whole podcast, and I feel
it's great. No, I love it. No, I love it.
The guest, dude.
Zero interaction. I've just been
zero interaction.
That's the point of it. I remember we were talking to because Matt does
every week. Yeah,
he does the Vox and Hops podcast. That.
Yeah.
And he basically said that because we were talking about him doing Sebastian Bach and how he basically he asked 3 questions the whole time and just let Sebastian just go nuts. But he was like, that's what I like to do. I like to just ask like 4 or 5 questions and let the people talk for 30 minutes. It's like I was like, fuck, we have we're too
we jump in too much. I'm talking over you right now as you're saying it.
I don't know. This is the habit I'm in this episode going way back. You mentioned the USC thing as the dream music school or whatever, but the saturation of talent or whatever. I had a kid in my high school who went to USC for music, trumpet, and he dropped out after a year or 2, and he just hated it. And he just said it was like ultimate, no one was happy and everyone was just shitting on each other because they were just all so good, pushing each other way too hard, and it killed music for him. He's like, I just didn't want to do it at all. So I think you might have dodged a bullet on that one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it worked out. And I'm not a competitive guy. I'm like competitive with myself, but the people, I remember when I was doing my getting ready for my audition, even in Denver, other students were camped outside my practice room and just talking shit, and I was like, that's weird. Yeah, not my style at all. Yeah, probably,
Damn. Well, fuck those guys.
Hey, whatever. I hope they're all doing very well.
Yeah, for sure.
So I have a question actually about guitar stuff. So you seem to be like, Allegiant, as far as I know, one of the first kind of melodic metal, death metal, whatever you want to call your genre bands to use an 8-string. And I was always wondering, because when the 8-string came out, we did a tour with Tosin was playing with Born of Osiris, but he had Animals as Leaders that was coming out, and he was working on that stuff, and he had an 8-string with him, and he was just like handing it around to everyone, going like, check this shit out, like,
Yeah.
and it was like a new thing, but they were using it in such a just more. I mean, Tosin obviously used it pretty openly, but a lot of people have used it more of a chuggy kind of heavy way. You kind of took the 8-string and made it like a melodic, like added it to the melodic repertoire of your band. Was that always part of the band, or did that come in like the second or third album, or when did that 8-string kind of
that happened in 2012. So our first EP and the first record were just 7. In fact, there's only 3 songs on the second album that had 8-string, and I just like, when it was brought up, it was like, oh, awesome. It was, I thought of it as an opportunity to try like some different keys, right? And just used it like as an opportunity. It's like, oh, cool, there's more notes and we can, use it in a composition way. That was my mindset. But like the 8-string that I borrowed to write with, it was an Ibanez, and it was like a 28-inch scale, and it's like, certain guitars work for certain types of music. For what we did, the scale length was just painful.
Is that longer than average?
Yeah.
25 and a half is usually.
Oh, really? Damn.
Yeah. So it's like, I think Meshuggah plays 29 or 30.
They always do one step bigger.
Yeah. Right, but it's because they're like, it's so rhythmic that like they don't have to, not that I know, I'm gonna probably be shit on for, but I'm gonna say I don't think, because I like literally don't know, but they don't do a lot of riffing, right? It's like a lot of rhythmic complexity.
Yep.
Is that okay?
That's on.
So like for them, it works because of what they're doing. But for Allegiant, it did not work. So I hated it. I absolutely hated it. So I didn't contribute to any of that. So, but then after we did that record and there was 8-string songs, then we had no choice. So then we went over permanently. But it is like, me, it's like, why have 8 if you're not going to use all 8? It doesn't make any sense. So
but you still use 8, right?
Yeah. I've gotten used to it now. It's like, well, now with BC Rich, I'm in 27. I was only doing 26 and a half.
Okay.
But, my new BC Rich, the custom, will be 26 and a half. So it'll be way easier to play. So
nice. So
why does it get longer the more strings?
It's just like, it just stays in tune better because it's getting lower.
More tension. Yeah.
So I'd just rather, for my hands' health, I would rather just get thicker strings on the bottom and not crank my wrist over.
Can you do some 8-string sweeps?
No.
Not right now. I'm not saying right now.
I do
Bring
7
it out,
a
dude.
lot. I do 7 a lot, but not 8.
Yeah. So you mainly use but I hear your music. You're riffing on that 8-string. Like you are definitely like using the 8-string a lot. Like it seems like you're not giving yourself credit for using the 8-string much, but like you actually like will do some like bouncy kind of Nevermore-ish kind of riffs on the 8-string, correct?
Yes, sometimes. It depends like what key we're in, right?
Yeah.
Like so. I tried to do something really different for the new record. I wanted every song that I wrote to be in a different key, right? So that means I'm like, I don't want to rely on open strings. I want to do like lot. But I find that like with the 8-string, like 1st fret through like maybe 5th fret is it's just muddy.
Yeah, it's kind of the same.
It's just like you hear the bass tone, you hear the distortion from the guitar, but you don't really hear the note. Right, it's the bass that is the hero there. So
the hero of Circuit City.
Yeah,
The hero of low frequencies.
Sorry.
Sorry. The hero of low frequent city.
There it is. There it is.
Call
So
that.
we don't. I mean, it's weird. You'll use it. I don't know.
It
It's
just
more,
seems
it's more of a special use. It's like
Yeah.
not. Don't play a lot on it. To be
Yo,
honest.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, like you're the right amount of 8th string for a band, which is like in those sick riffs where it's like da 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 da. The first song on the Apoptosis. I love that riff. How you're using the 8 on that. So
Oh, sick. Thanks.
yeah.
well.
And
So this is.
also,
Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
1.618, right? That's kind of like an iconic 8th string riff. Like I think
Yeah.
everyone fucking knows that's part of that riff is the 8th string aspect.
The 8th string. Yeah. I thought I had brilliance. It's gone.
So here's some brilliance for you. No, it's not really. But what do you think? What do you think? High school Greg would think of with the whole going through new metal and stuff like that. How much you hated Korn 7-string. Well, not that you hated 7-string, but still. What would high school
would
Greg
you have punched me or Joel?
No. But what would high school Greg think of you in the future with some secret binoculars playing 8 strings now?
I know what he's gonna say.
Oh, dude, I think high school Greg would be stoked.
It's
Honestly.
Okay.
Petrucci, right?
What?
No, 7-string. He was 7-string, right?
Yeah, but still, I mean, like John Petrucci was showing how you can extend range guitar in the prog setting back then.
Yeah, I mean, it was never about how many strings, right? It was just like what you did with them. That was kind of like, but high school Greg was stupid. Like even high school Greg knew high school Greg was stupid. Like my senior year of high school, I went around to apologize to all the people that I'd like it's not you. I'm just a fucking idiot, like. I apologize to a lot of people my senior year. By the time I hit the senior year, I'm like, wow, I've been an asshole, so like.
But that shows you found some clarity by the end of it.
Yeah, like I didn't have to do the like, hey, when we were in high school, I was a real dick. At least I did when I was in high school, I had that like, oh wow, you're just like really angry because, dude, I don't know, you're full of fucking hormones and stupid.
Yeah, at least you didn't have to do the rehab where you have to go make amends with everyone and like call people that you've wronged.
Did you play any sports or anything in high school?
I played a little football and then I did track and swim team. I bounced around.
I got it out on the field, dude, when I was playing football and hitting the weight room and shit. That's where I was getting all that shit out.
Yeah, I kept hurting my hands, so I quit.
Yeah.
I kept jamming my hands and I couldn't play, so
It's kind of like me with because in a skater community, it was like a couple falls. I'm like, all right, well, my finger's broken, so I'm gonna go ahead and I can't skate anymore because I'm scared of it now, and now I can't play any music. So yeah, just basically kind of wiped out any kind of extreme sports was guitar, because you don't want to hurt the arms, hurt the hands, hurt the shoulder. Like you saw Steve Vai doing have you seen that no picking? Yeah.
What happened to him? I've been
I think
asking people and no one's been able to tell me.
I think just age, right? Does age
Really?
happen to him?
Just close to the end, dude.
Oh, I mean, if he's in a sling, I just was wondering.
He got shoulder surgery.
Dude,
Oh,
if your shoulder's fucked up,
rotator.
I'm 36 and my shit's fucked up from football, dude. I know exactly what game it happened, everything, dude. And ever since that game, my shit has never been the same, dude.
no.
So don't put your kids in football. Fuck that shit, dude. Let them watch that shit on TV like Joel does.
Just get drunk like Joel and watch football.
Yeah, they're much safer that way, actually, dude.
The armchair quarterback. It's way safer. Speaking of, that was the when you went live that one time when me and you were kind of drinking. It was about
We were all about Chiefs that night.
all about the Chiefs that night. But that means were you all about the Broncos that night, or what was going on there?
Dude, to be honest, I saw Howie Long play when I was a kid.
Okay.
So I was always a Raiders fan until the time we played Oakland. And then I was like, well, maybe I don't like the Raiders anymore because it was just such a bad experience.
They're the most metal team though. Like, like all the Slayer guys were wearing like all Raiders things.
I mean, it wasn't that. It like literally was Howie Long. But like after that experience, I just stopped watching football. I'd like it kind of was like, yeah, well, that sucks. So
what's kind of funny is that you talk about new metal and the whole new metal phase. I went and saw Korn with my dad. And
how was it?
So I was in deep Korn. I was just cream. I was the cream of the crop.
Cream of the corn.
I was
Fresh
like,
off the cob, dude. He was fresh off the cob.
My dad was
cornfields, dude. He can't find his way out. Just
my dad wanted to see. Like I was telling my dad, he's a bass player
in the corner.
He was a bass player, and I was like, dude, check out this bassist. And just Fieldy, who doesn't really play any. Speaking of 8th string, you can't hear any notes. Like he basically just hear a twang. It's like no, there's no notes.
Yeah, what did your dad think? So
no, he was being supportive. I was in like high school. Yeah, he was like,
you should ask him what he really.
Your dad's
felt on
awesome,
that,
dude. I just realized you were talking about. I thought this was a recent thing. That's why I was like, oh, how was it?
I took my dad to Korn
in the last few years.
No,
Yeah.
2019.
Yeah.
No, but
that's how they bond. They redo it every year, dude.
It was I was looking really. It was like Rob Zombie and Korn or something like that, and I was like, I'm fucking down, dude. This is the shit right here, Dad. You got to come check this out. And I took him there, and I was down with all the songs and stuff, and I was walking away like, I don't like Korn anymore. I don't know why. The show, there's nothing wrong with the show. Everything. It was just kind of like it's. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, it's happened with, if you want to.
So you had already been a fan for a while.
I mean, yeah, right? You could. Yeah. I'm like in
this
the.
Is like what during issues or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Album issues. Yeah, that's where I fell off too.
No, but I liked Issues though. But the thing is though, I went to go see him live, and once I saw him live, and they made no mistakes and just did their Korn thing, I was walking out of there like, I don't want to listen to them anymore. Like it was a weird like thing that overcame. It was kind of like I was into Fear Factory at the time too, so I was kind of like slowly going to Fear Factory and like more, like more like picking and actual like guitar players. I was playing guitar, and that's, I mean, Korn and Fear Factory are the reason why I bought a 7-string. That's why I was asking you the 8-string questions. Is like I would see the Ibanez catalogs with Dino and Head and stuff, and I'd be like, whoa, dude.
So you're like a freak. You're like a freak unleashed, basically. You're like
and I had issues, dude. But
dude.
No, dude. I mean, I think the combo of like Fear Factory and taking your dad to that concert probably was what pushed it out the back door.
I have this weird thing where I want to show my dad like my dad's not into metal at all, but like I have this like fantasy of like I found like because he's into like he's into like Eric Johnson, Guthrie Govan. He's into good stuff. Aristocrats and like all the cool stuff, but like it's all the cool dad stuff. He's like he's a murderer at the dad stuff. Like, it's all the most talented musicians. You know what I mean?
Dad shred.
But dad shred. But it's not like the songwriting. I like really want to I want to show him like Opeth or something, or I want him to be down with that. But I know the growls and stuff. He'll just be like, "Oh, sick, dude. Well, I'm gonna go get a beer while this guy farts in the mic."
You should show him like, well, no, he doesn't like tech shit though. Does he like tech jazz or does he?
I've shown him Allegaeon. The Subdivisions cover because my dad got me into Rush. So as a child, my dad got me into Rush, and I was like, hey, I had to frame it like this because we were still, the whole fantasy of getting all realm together, which is still going to happen, but like it was still fresh. It was like we got Riley's down, Carrie's down, blah blah, and I'm like, hey, the guy that's singing this is going to be possibly in our band, so check this out. Check out this cover of Subdivisions, and he's like, yeah, this guy can fucking sing. I'm like, gotcha, bitch.
Dude, that's so funny. Wait, real quick, I have a similar story that I just had last weekend, so I'm hoping my parents get this house ready because they're getting rid of it and moving. And so my uncle's helping too, and he comes down, and I was like, yeah, dude. So I got this guy Greg coming on the episode, and he covered a Rush song on one of his previous albums, and it sounds good, dude. You want to check it out? And he's like, yeah, dude. And dude, every time the double bass would start playing, he'd be like, that was his reaction every time he'd hear the double bass, like in a good way. Like he was like, oh, it actually sounds like good, because he doesn't like Metallica and shit.
Right.
So he's down with the chugs and stuff like that. So, but with the double bass on the song, his only reaction during the whole thing was just laughing, dude. And I was like, okay, does he? And then at the end of the song, he was like, dude, that was
good.
like really good. And I'm like, all right, you made me feel like I didn't know if I was showing you some shit that was just like these fucking kids trying to take Rush and fucking make it all metal. Like, dude, that's the fucking, I don't know.
Yeah.
Didn't you say that like you got the nod from Rush or something on that or something?
Yeah, Rush's management loved it. They really dug Subdivision.
So cool.
Metal Blade sent it to him.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, because we did Anime too.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that
I was gonna
too.
say they did. Yeah, that song too.
Yeah, so they really dug it. When we did Roundabout, that was a different story.
Dude, that
Really?
Oh, I mean,
I thought that was so good, dude.
But what did it go to Yes's management?
I thought we were gonna get crucified by Rush fans because it's like you can't really fuck with Rush, like, you know what I mean? But I was shocked at how well that went over. So I was like, oh yeah, Yes is gonna be great. And it was the exact opposite. Yes fans lost it. Except
Really?
the guitar player from Frank Zappa, who was like, this is fucking awesome. And I was like, all of your criticisms are
Yes, dude.
Was it Dweezil or the other? Someone else?
No, that's a son, right?
Yeah,
Oh.
Dweezil's his son.
Well, Dweezil. Was it Dweezil or the other?
No, it was another. I don't
Oh,
remember.
okay,
Old
yeah.
Steve Vai or something. I don't know.
It was a guy on a prog forum.
Yeah.
Played
Dude,
with-
I love that fucking version. Is so good. I think.
Dude, it's so good, dude. It's like I remember me and actually you sent it to me early because I got that in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Got that.
you got
sent me
the dial hookup.
yeah, you sent me the Subdivisions and the Yes Roundabout early, and I was like, I brought it into Trevor's room, and because Trevor's a big prog nerd too, and we just threw it on, and he's just like, this is fucking sick. He was like, he's so picky
good.
about shit too, and he was like reacting like this is so fucking sick, and I was like, I know, like I was like we were sitting there just trying to like not gush while it was playing, but we listened to it like 2 times in a row. That's how much we were into it. We're like, throw it on again, let's do it. Like it's fucking awesome, man. Like fuck Yes fans.
Well, that's good. I wish that our originals got as much love as all the covers that we've done.
Oh, I know
Yeah.
your covers are like a Spotify #1s, right? They're like at the
Yeah,
top.
it's not a good look.
It's
It's like the worst
number
look
one's
ever.
Roundabout. Number
Oh,
one's
no,
Roundabout. Number
it's
2
all
is
good.
Subdivision.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's like, what are our top songs? Roundabout.
Yeah.
Anime.
Well-
I'm like, oh, cool. All my arrangements of other band songs that were already very popular. Well, that's not a good look for us.
No,
Well,
I
that's
think it's
because
awesome.
you guys still play
More
like the
covers.
because
No
you
more
play the
covers.
metal stuff, like you play you know how it
Yeah.
is.
You open it up to such a different
Yeah.
range of people. Like you
You guys are so
of
versatile.
age group, like
Yeah.
a different age group of folks that aren't into metal at all, which is fucking awesome that you open that door.
Yeah.
So people like my dad going like, doing the dad head to it,
Yeah.
like
But it was the same reason because like Travis Ryan was like, oh, we should put the Blast Christmas thing up on Spotify. And we were just like, yeah, that's I think Riley was like, yeah, do you want people looking up Travis Ryan like Last Christmas? And he's like, good point. Don't put it up there. And I was like, yeah, one more cover on there. Sounds great. Like this band is famous for covering other bands. It's stupid.
let's make the top 4 covers.
It's so
Right.
fun though,
Oh,
you know.
oh,
But,
God. This is
Alien-
hurting me. Just
Alien Ant Farm Allegion tour.
You just gotta space them out. That's all, That's you guys like murder it though. That's the thing, Yeah,
Totally.
Like
No,
you're
that's-
like way too good at it. Like that's.
Let's get back to the shit where you wrote it though, dude.
But I love your music way more though. I mean, I
Totally.
love that. I love
oh,
that.
see, I love you guys. This is great.
Yeah.
No, I love you, dude.
No, but man, like I always say every episode, I've been listening to your shit and it's fucking awesome. I love it. Like it's
Oh,
so
I thought you were
diverse.
about to say, yeah, every episode I say, I've been listening to your shit. That's a fucking lie.
It's not
No,
a
it's not
lie,
dude.
dude.
Casey. It's not a lie, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been
Low-key,
listening, man.
I've listened to Legion's Apoptosis more than
It's
most
so
of the
good, dude.
Cryptopsy albums, and we just interviewed Cryptopsy, and I was like, I
I
don't know
know.
most of this discography, but I know like all of Allegion's shit. So
Dude, I was trying to bust your balls again, and I just lost it. I was like, yeah, I know you just did crypto.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What the
100%.
hell, man? It's the only week they could do, dude. Come on, it's the only week.
Dude, it was
It was
super
true, though.
it was super awesome. Last time we were in Paris, no, it wasn't the last. We went to the Louvre, and then I actually saw the None So Vile. I didn't even know what it's called, but I was like, oh, dude, it's None So Vile. None So. I'm like taking pictures of it, and I'm like, it's
Yeah.
Cryptopsy.
Fuck yeah.
Dude, I've been to the Louvre. I
actually-
didn't realize it was there. What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, who
Oh,
knows?
shit.
Maybe it's a traveling exhibit or whatever.
Yeah, maybe. What were you
That's
saying?
crazy, dude. I didn't even fucking dig deep enough to even realize that was a painting. I thought that.
Yeah, John the Baptist, right? Or decapitated. I don't know. Yeah, I don't
Greg,
know too much about it.
are you in Fort Collins right now, or what part of Colorado?
No, I'm in Denver.
Oh,
I had
cool.
Fort Collins. There was no work up there,
Yeah,
so I had to come down here just to get teaching.
I have family that like my uncle, like for my whole life, has been in Morrison, like
Oh,
over
yeah.
by Red Rocks. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like I'm not really in Denver. I'm east or west of Denver, so Morrison,
Yeah.
it's right there. I see
Yeah.
Red Rocks from where I live. Yeah,
oh, sick, dude. Yeah,
it's
like-
dude, I love it here. It's so
Yeah.
beautiful. I don't.
yeah.
I'm like, I want to move. Like, I can't wait to go to Canada, but at the same time, I'm just like, man, I love Colorado. I love
Yeah.
it here.
I love it too, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so down.
Can't
There's only
afford
been a
to come
few.
here now, but
Yeah. I haven't been there. Like, I used to go there every year, like with my family, like I said. So
oh yeah.
Dude, how's the music scene out there? Like how was going to shows and shit?
Dude, it
growing
was
up?
it's kind of weird. I'm a little out of touch now, of course. But we came up, Symbolic Carnage obviously was like the band.
Yep.
Yeah, that's like the band, they're like famous. They're in the Red Rocks Hall of Fame music.
No shit.
Like, it's weird to go into Red Rocks Music Hall of Fame and there's like a big picture of Symbolic.
really, they're in there.
Yeah.
Cool, dude.
I went through that when they first made that, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it was like the Beatles and stuff and all that. Dude, that's insane. They're in that.
Yeah, it's super sick. Actually, just like, oh, sick, we're represented.
Way cool.
And so it was. I mean, obviously, we everybody knew who Symbolic is, and then it's crazy because it's been the last album came out in 2010, right? And like I remember our first album came out with their the last, but they have a new album coming out anyway. But yeah, so I mean, Symbolic was kind of like they were the kings, right? And then the scene just started, like, it was building a lot. So when we came up at Fort Collins, it was happening. But it was kind of like, I mean, from what I've seen from Murder in the Front Row, it was very much like that. It was short-lived, and I think as soon as like Allegiant kind of like really relocated from Fort Collins to Denver, the Fort Collins scene kind of died out a little bit, which was sad because there was some great bands up there. And then, I mean, we kind of came up with Havoc together, which was cool, man. Because I love Havoc to this day, and
that's why Nick joined them too. That makes sense. I had no idea Havoc was from Denver because Nick
Yeah.
played on bass for a while.
Yeah, it was super fun. It was super interesting because I got asked to join Havoc before Reese, and I was like, oh, Allegiant's gonna do something, and then it turned out like all our tours got canceled, and I was like, oh, sick. But and everything obviously worked out 'cause Reese is insane. He's a great guitar player. So there was Havoc, and then we kind of came up in the same breath, and we played so many shows together, and then there's now I think Blood Incantations from here, and Chemist is blowing up. here, and Primitive Man.
Mhm.
Yeah, our scene, like a scene for a scene as small as Denver is, it is produced a lot. Dreadnought, I think they're doing some good stuff.
What was like? You guys got like a specific local venue that all the tours would come through and shit?
I mean, down here in Denver, there's multiple, right? Because we have the Fillmore, we have the Marquee. The Marquee is kind of the go-to for, it's like where Dying Fetus would come, and the kind of the upper echelon, but not like, oh, you're not opening for All That Remains, so you can't play the Fillmore. So like I think we saw the Faceless and Planetary Duality. Like Black Dahlia would play there. We saw Black Dahlia and Obscura. Obscura was opening for Black Dahlia. That was insane show. Yeah.
What up? Is that Trev? In the background.
Hey,
dude?
Trevor. He's petting my cat. This is Trevor. This is
Come
one
on,
of my
dude.
best bros in the world. He can't hear you, but
What up, dude?
Hey, Trev.
Hi guys.
Party on, brother.
little cameo right there.
Love you.
Love you too, dude.
When I played my last tour, we did Colorado. It was like independently booked tour or whatever. Like, no, we were nobodies, but we played on the way to Colorado, and then when we got to Colorado, like every band was better than us. Like all the bands out there are sick as fuck, and they all are tech and super sick. So yeah, we were super impressed by the scene.
Really?
This is like 2018. Yeah.
Who did you play with?
Honestly, I was literally just trying to find the names, and I know that we did a tour with Scalafreya, who are Denver based, and they're on hiatus right now.
Yeah, dude, I think they are, it's Len's cousin or brother. I don't know. It's a relative of Len from Cephalic, who's the main dude from Scalafreya, I think.
Well, so their drummer is Joseph Howard.
Joe. Yeah.
Yeah, and he plays with Leonard in Neuromorphic, their new band. He sent me some studio demo recently with Leonard singing over it, and it's super sick.
Cool.
But I don't know the connection, if there's a connection with someone Leonard knows. Other than that, Scala recorded their first thing with Dave Otero, and Leonard did some guest vocals, and then Joe said basically Leonard was like just got him introduced to the scene, and so I know there's like at least a tight connection there, but I don't know if there's a relative or not. Yeah,
I mean, my knowledge of this is pretty dated.
Yeah, for sure.
So who knows if that dude's even still in the band? I mean, he was a relative, I know, and I think he played guitar and sang, but like that was years ago. I mean, I think Joe is the only guy I know that was still in that band. Maybe.
Yeah, I think I might know the member you're talking about. But we did a tour with Scalafreya in 2018 that was really, really sick. And yeah, and I'm trying to remember, unfortunately, I don't remember the other bands we played out there, but we did a sick fucking Boulder show and a super sick Denver show, and every band on the bill was better than us. And we're like, holy shit.
You know what's super crazy? You had a Boulder show.
Sorry, it wasn't Boulder. It was I was like, shit, he's gonna call me out, isn't he? What's the other city?
I mean, I played in Boulder twice.
Yeah.
But and like it's just a weird it was town.
Colorado
sick
Springs,
wasn't next
actually.
to it.
Colorado Springs is where we played, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah, Boulder is going to be all the EDM kids, right?
Sorry?
I think Boulder is all the EDM kids and shit.
Dude, yeah, Boulder's weird, man. It's such a beautiful town, but it's like hippies and trust fund babies, and it's an odd town. Like super odd. It's so beautiful, so it's like, oh man, I love it here. And then just the people, it's like, oh, it's fucking weird. It's an odd town.
Just Colorado's in general is one of those places that everyone's kind of fleeing to. I know that James Hetfield lives in Vail, right?
Yeah.
Like he lives in the 13 or the teens, or what do they call them up there, like up in the mountains and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I mean, for me playing Denver, that was always good. Like you might have played this one house. We played this house one time. It was downtown Denver. This guy, I think it was like an off show. Casey, you were there. It was basically just a house show, and we just like showed up downtown. It was a guy with a bunch of dreads that was in a grindcore band that just like paid for us to be there.
Yeah, he's Ethan from Primitive Man.
Ethan,
Yeah.
Primitive Man. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they played. Primitive Man played, and he was like eating his microphone and stuff, but and like playing out of a trash can or something. I forget. He was doing all kinds of fun stuff.
Was that the
But I
the
remember-
spot where the guy waved us down like in the van and like, he's like, hey, and like we pulled over? Is it downtown?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Like there was a guy
Oh,
who
it was
like
way gnarly, like downtown.
he like waved us down like we thought we were parking or something with the show or something, you know. He's like, yeah, it comes over, and he like we like pull over, and he's like, and he comes up to the window, he's like, you guys want some crack?
Yeah.
And we're
So
like,
that was
no,
that,
like
that was a mind-blowing thing about Denver that I always tell the story about, is that we play that show and then we go outside to go smoke or whatever, and we're like out there smoking, and there's just these groups of people. There's like a group of people, like of 20 people over here, there's one of 25 over here, there's a 30 over there, and Ethan was just all like, okay, so this is how it works. So those are the meth addicts, those are the heroin addicts, and then those are the crackheads, and like they're just in these groups like looking for drugs, and they were just like, and for Denver that was such a foreign thing, because I always thought of Denver as such a nice, like a beautiful place. And I mean, you know, obviously there's shit places in all cities, but this was like one that stuck with me up to standard almost of Vancouver. What do you play like that
Really?
place? Yeah, you remember that? What's that place in the China district?
Lamplighter.
No, what's it called?
It's the Lamplighter.
Like the heroin city thing.
Yeah, it's a heroin where people will like literally hide behind your van and start shooting up and right as you park and stuff. It's like, that's the names on the tip of my tongue, but yeah, it was up there. It was like up to that. Like those are the two stories that like really tripped me out about like pulling into like these big drug infested places.
It's not like that anymore. They gentrified that whole area.
Okay.
Like, they've pushed all of that out. It's interesting because down around there, like in 5 Points and shit, like I knew people that like after the show they got stabbed outside the door. Like
Yeah,
it's
it
all
seemed like that was pretty
now.
possible. I remember
That's
actually
all different now. It's
Casey,
it's nice down there now. It's like
yeah,
shit,
Casey's
like,
in our we had a friend, Savon, who was outside, and we were smoking cigarettes, and this guy comes up and he's all, can I borrow your lighter? She's all, please just don't use it for anything weird. And he just like takes the lighter and just pulls up a crack pipe right in front of us and just hits it right in front of us. And me and Savon are just like, Jesus, man. Like, and she's all, just please give my lighter back. Like, fuck, this is, and like, he was like, he's all laughing and just smoked a crack pipe in front of us. And I was like, oh, that's my first time seeing crack smoke. This is fun. Denver? Oh, Denver, huh?
Yeah, man. Hey, Rocky Mountain High.
Yeah, that was
check.
I mean, but Denver's literally like, I mean, probably mainly because, you know, Lenzig and stuff was down there always, and he would give us like 300 beers every time we showed up because of his brother at Breckenridge Brewery or something like that. But
I've heard the stories.
yeah, just he'd stop by his house and, you know, do pot. We'd be on all kinds of pot, and he was a big pot guy. And
I always talked to Stefalik's like, yeah, when's this next record coming out? And they're like, we don't know what to write about, man. It's legal now. I was like, you're right about that.
Lenzig's probably one of the most.
It's gonna be all reggae. It's legal now.
Lenzig's quick, dude.
He's quick. He's a witty guy. He's very hard to.
Oh yeah, dude. The lyrics on the demo I got sent are hilarious. Like, I wish I could play that shit for you all, but you have to wait till Neuromorphic comes out.
Were they the first like serious death metal grind band to like actually be funny? I think like they were like they were serious, but they were hilarious. Like,
yeah, the music was, everything about them was fucking brutal and extreme and grinding and psychedelic and fucking crazy. And then you read the lyrics, you know, it's
you're like, what the fuck?
If
you just took the lyrics and gave it to somebody who didn't know anything about the music, like,
yeah, they'd be laughing.
And then say, what kind of music do those people play?
I learned so much from that band. We did it was called the End of the World Tour. It was in 2012. You know, Job for a Cowboy headlined, and it was weird. It was like the weirdest tour because Job for a Cowboy hadn't like completely made the switch to death metal yet. So
was Nick in the band yet?
Yes, Nick. Okay. So Nick did double duty. So Nick was doing Job, and then Cephalic was direct support, so he was doing double. And then it was I Declare War, Allegaeon, and another deathcore band called Legion. So that was confusing. And I'm like, we would go play, and I'll never forget. We were in Albany, New York, and it was a core show. It was a core show. They didn't fucking want anything to do with us. We didn't have any breakdowns. They would just sit on the stage and fucking text with their backs to us. And I remember getting so pissed. I was like teabagging dudes.
Yeah.
I was being a fucking jackass just to like, because I was, fuck you. They knocked over our merch. They did a whole bunch. And then I'm just like, fuck this. And then I walk off. And then Brian from Suffolk is like, watch this. And they got chairs. And like, they put chairs down and they sat in a circle. And Len's just like, we like our metal like we like our apples without the core. And then they just played fucking a grind set. It wasn't the set they had prepared. It was just a fuck you. And they were so funny. There's like, I will have no expression for this whole set. And they just sat there like deadpan for like 45 minutes.
Oh my god.
Nothing, like nothing. And they won the crowd over.
It's the best thing ever.
The Philadelphia experiment.
Yeah.
It was such a fucking nightmare for like a Legion, but Cephalic Carnage just like their whole attitude of like get fucked and won them over. I was like, this is amazing. It's fucking amazing.
They have that freedom about them. I remember I've probably even told this on the podcast before, just like watching them and like was an All Shall Perish and Cephalic Carnage show.
Yeah.
And like this like fucking warehouse in Modesto or some random place. And I could tell that they could tell that there's a bunch of core kids there. I was sitting there just like fucking so down. And then fucking the old bass player, I forget his name. I've hung out with him many times. Josh. All of a sudden I don't see him anymore. He's off the stage. I'm like, what the fuck is Josh? And then I just feel this like this on the back of my back. Like this. I look back and he's just headbanging into my fucking like with his wireless, just headbanging into my back, just going like, and then he just goes in while the core kids are like doing their dancing and stuff and just starts like wiping them out with this like bass and shit, and just goes right back on stage and just like they just have that like, I mean that freedom and
no fucks, no fucks. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Such a learning experience. For me, like, yeah, I was just like, wow, if the crowd doesn't like budge, then neither should you. The whole set with, I won't headbang, I won't do shit. I will stand here on a chair and just like deadpan you, like mean mug you for 45 minutes.
I love it, dude. I love it.
Do what you
and
gotta do.
They did that "Dying Will Be the Death of Me" video where they like kidnapped an emo kid at the end or something. I forgot.
It was actually really funny. They played. We had a theater here. It's like dude, I forget the fucking name of it. It's like owned by the Marquee. Summit Music Amphitheater, and Cephalic did a show, and they snuck me and Dave from Havoc backstage, and then for like Black Metal Sabbath.
Yeah.
Everybody left the stage except for Len, and then we all came up and played the end, and Len was so confused.
They didn't tell.
Like, who the fuck? All right, whatever. That was fun. They're like, hey, we want you to play tonight. I was like, it's what? They're like, you have 3 hours, learn this song. Oh, okay.
Dude, I remember we played the Summit with them too, and they fucking gave, I think Len and Brian gave me their black metal masks, and I just lost them like a fucking idiot. Like that was like, I know, I like in a move or something. Like I had the mask, like I had the 2 rubber masks, and I just fucking lost them. But they were, God, those two.
They're probably in that fucking downstairs fucking basement room in the Furniture Dome, dude.
It was when I moved out of there. It was when I went to Sacramento. It was when I lost them.
Dude, I've heard stories about this Furniture Dome.
Yeah, it was a dome.
It was a dome.
It has furniture
on top of some furniture, dude.
No, basically, long story short, if we've talked about it a million times, but we had a old house, like an odious house that used to have, like the first Sleep Terror show was there, like the first like decrepit live show was there, pretty much. as a party house that we just had shows at, and we'd flyer the whole community and be like, or people around us be like, hey, we're having the show, you're invited, there's food, just don't call the cops. We didn't say that, but we're like, you're invited. If you have any issues, call us, please. Like, we'll totally succumb to we'll deal with what you need to deal with. And we would have these fucking shows that were, you know, on the podcast with Naveen and stuff. He was talking about like how he used to go there back in the day and just be like, what the fuck, this is like a scene here. Like, it's like a, you know, a bunch of people would come. It was just turned into a big party thing, but, you know, it turned into windows being broken, and then finally the cops started showing up, and then it just kind of slowly had the just kind of went down. So we the same group of friends got a house over on top of a furniture store, so we called it the Furniture Dome. We didn't really have shows there until after we moved out, and then our friend Shara took over and started having shows there to kind of like, just, you know, because you can, it was be as loud as you want.
Yeah, it was a rehearsal spot for us when you guys were living.
Yeah,
there.
Animosity practice there, Brain Drill, us.
Sorry guys for all the Furniture Dome ears that are.
Dude, we should make
wearing on the
Furniture Dome. We should
shit.
make Thunderdome and Furniture Dome merch, dude.
Fuck yeah, we should, dude. Let's hear back from you guys. Actually, whoever's listening right now, let us know if you would rep a fucking Thunderdome or a Furniture Dome shirt.
It's all about 6, you know.
No, we'll get into the merch shit soon though, dude. I know people have been asking about it.
But Greg, so Apoptosis was definitely more death metal, correct? Would you say more like aggressive? Because I feel like I can't fucking, don't kill me, but I forget the album before the name.
Proponent for Sentience.
Proponent. Actually, not to double segue, but Riley texted me on the story I made of me and you going like, oh, I can't wait for fucking Greg to be on here tonight, blah, 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 on the Facebook story or whatever. Yeah. He's all, sick, dude. You picked the only thing on the album with it's a singer of Soilwork playing or singing and not me.
Yep. I heard that.
I was like, oh shit. Well, he sounds a lot like you. He's like, no, he doesn't. I'm like, oh God, we're getting into this. No, but I did pick the only part of the album that didn't have Riley on it. And busted on there, but I was like, whatever, it sounded shreddy or something, and I just was taking a dump and just swiped, and so that's the explanation.
Took a dump, swiped, wiped, and then he was out.
Swipe and wipe, dude. Yeah, exactly. But so Apoptosis seemed to me a little bit more aggressive, less. I mean, there's still parts of it that have the melodic flavor to it that you guys have always brought, but I feel like the album before had more kind of that Swedish style to it, and Apoptosis was more aggressive. Was there a purpose to that, or am I just wrong?
No, I think that we were fucking burnt out. Like, Proponent was planned and agonized over, and like that's my favorite record we've ever done. Like, it's the record I'm most proud of, and I think it's the most coherent, like from cohesive like body of work, right? But you know, with Apoptosis, I think we had toured and toured and toured, and we were fucking burnt out. Our management were fucking parasites, and I mean that in the most go fuck yourself way. And we were miserable, man. Like we were just so burnt.
Do you have Finberg or something? Sorry.
No. No. I'm not, not going to drop their names, but like literally they didn't give a fuck about the bands at all. Yeah. They're just like, get on the road so we can collect our 15% and we can pay our yachts, and like, fuck you. We don't give a shit. Like, oh, you lost 40 grand on your tour? Well, that sucks. Pay us.
So we did the opposite. That's tight.
Yeah.
We gained 40 grand.
It fucking sucked. And then, so yeah, there was a lot of fucking negativity going into Apoptosis. So I, for me, the writing was kind of chaotic, and I was going through, like, my life was kind of like in a bad place too, so I think that really impacted kind of the writing as well. But I mean, looking at the new record, I don't think it's any happier. So, yeah, no, I guess that's fair. Yeah, more death metal. I mean, it's like I hear songs like Interface, Meiosis, and like Extremophiles A, and it was the first time that we kind of deviated from like pop song structures and forms, and that was literally just because it was chaotic and like the songwriting was just a struggle to like kind of come together in those things, and it's like, okay, that's how they came out.
I mean, I'm not saying death metal's a bad thing on the Cali Death podcast.
No, man, I didn't
trademark.
take it as such. I don't have positive associations very much with
So
About
it was
Business.
maybe more angry is what you're saying. There's more anger behind it.
There's more anger, and it's just, just for me personally, this is a bad time in my life, so it's kind of a weird time, and I just know that like there's parts on the album that I love, right? I was super proud of that, how it opened, and then some of the music that I wrote on the album I thought was like great, but yeah, I don't know. So sometimes your life at certain points can color how you see certain things, and well,
that's cool, man. That's cool that you actually like the way you write kind of reflects the time in your life. It's more like it's not just kind of like, this certain structure that we need, blah, blah, blah. It's like you went into it kind of like angry and it came out angry. To me, it did come out more angry than Proponent.
Yeah, I mean with the album that we actually start tracking next week, there's a lot. It's weird, man. Like
That's what I was going to ask you.
It's COVID very much had a huge impact on the album. I mean, it's like hard to say what it's going to be, because we haven't tracked it yet. Like we haven't heard full songs, but like what we have heard, with Riley on it, and like it's a different monster altogether than what we've done in the past, and like it's just really hard to tell you what it's gonna be at this point. But I can tell you, like, the guitar solos and stuff on the thing, I have never done a better job than I have on this record. I feel like I put a lot of time. I went and saw, I met up with a lot of, people that I admire, and just picked their brains on how they would approach solos on certain things, because I didn't want like one song. I remember like when at the end of the recording process of Apoptosis, we're like, well, that's obviously the single, and just being like, those are the singles and those are the solos that I hate the most of mine. And I was like, I'm not fucking doing this again. Like, there's going to be no weak links for me, because then at least if the song that I wasn't that invested in becomes just a better song to put out, then I had given 100%. So like I went overboard on this record for that. So yeah, and I mean the drums, we have never had a drummer, right, on a Legion record. It's always just kind of like they've always just played what we programmed.
Mm-hmm.
And which I think is maybe part of the reason that maybe drummers don't like the band. Like, what happens when a guitar player writes all the drum parts? Maybe they're not that great. So
not my current band. Like the Flag. Chris writes sick shit for me to play.
I like it. I like the drumming. Great.
Well, awesome.
I love playing along to a Legion shit, dude. It's one of my favorite thing to cover in the practice studio. Yeah.
Oh,
especially
good.
the apoptosis stuff. It's a super nice tempo to just, it's super sick.
Paul, I just got to cover my ass. Like I have to like be very self-detrimental.
But no, you got Jeff doing
self-deprecating has its strengths.
yeah.
But yeah, you got Jeff Saltzman doing the album, right?
Yeah.
Where's he from? What's his? The name sounds familiar.
Well, he filled in for Continuum.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And that's how like he came on the radar. He did the Continuum tour. and then Riley just always spoke really highly of him, and it's how things. It was really awesome because we had like every drummer that like wanted the gig was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like anybody that we chose, it would have been awesome. And we knew that. It was just like every single person that like showed interest, it was just like, wow, that'd be amazing. And it just really came down to like who was like the hungriest, you know? So, and so that, that's where we are. So the drums on the new album we've never had anything quite like it, it's been nice. It's been really nice.
So you think it's going to really, I mean, with apoptosis and everything, like, how could you compare the next album? Like what's it going to sound like in comparison to what we've heard before? I mean, I know you said you haven't tracked it, so it's not like a definite, but I mean, are you doing more, is there more Riley singing? Is there more?
There's more Riley singing, but it's very sad. I mean, I think that's a word, like a good word for it. It's very I mean, like there's been a lot of loss in our personal lives for COVID, and that kind of like really colored, a little bit I'll say a lot of the writing process. We've had a lot of death surrounding, so like, and then one thing we wanted to do was, I know Riley was kind of like having a really hard time emotionally connecting to like only doing science lyrics, right? Which was like, that worked for Allegaeon for so long because that's what interested us. And then, then Riley came into the band and, he picked up the mantle, and then with apoptosis, I think he kind of like reached the top of the mountain, and he just wasn't emotionally invested in the source material anymore in front of like, he couldn't be passionate about it. And it was like, well, I would rather your performance be more convincing, you know what I mean? And like, if you're behind it, then I think your performance will be better. Maybe that's a better way to say it. So I was like, and maybe that we've kind of been alienating a lot of people too, because it's hard for people to be like, oh man, you really helped me out through this part like of my life, this really difficult part, when you're singing about tardigrades, it's like, oh yes, they're singing about, the possible location for Atlantis based on this archaeological study, I can't really sink, this, emotional connection to it. Or it's like, for me, that I love that, like I have an emotional connection to that stuff because I find that super interesting, and that like makes me excited. But I'm not the one who has to sing it. So so there's no science for the first time in our career on this album, and it's like super personal, and there's lots of different stuff. So like I think I mean, based on what we've heard so far, I think it's an amazing record.
Do you guys all contribute lyrics wise?
It changes over the years. Like I hate writing lyrics. So on Apoptosis was the first album that I didn't write any lyrics. I was like, cool. I don't have to. And then I did a little bit based on some of the experiences I've had because of COVID on this record, which is hard. Which is like, I find myself like, anytime that I have to like write about not something that I research, I find it comes off as a little, I don't know, generic and cringy. Like if
you're speaking from a personal experience, you're saying?
Yeah, I just don't find that I have the eloquence to convey like emotional subject matter very well. Like I would much rather, like it's way easier for me to like seem intelligent, I think, through when I do research on something, as opposed to me singing about something personal. I feel like I'm just not equipped verbally to communicate my feelings So like I don't like that at all.
Mhm. Have you ever tried to, speak through metaphor?
Yeah,
Trying-
I'm just not a literary guy. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just not. It's like I'd like to think I have this like impressive vocabulary, but having that and using it are two different things, you know.
Mhm.
So,
So would you say that like kind of music's your like kind of fantasy get away from all the things you don't really want to talk about, and that's why it's kind of weird bringing this all up into the same thing?
well, I think I'm very much I can communicate more my emotional through music instead of words.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm way better at that. Like if I don't feel something, it's way easier for me to communicate that through music than it is verbally,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah, I'll just say I love the science thing that you had going, and I have the All Hail Science
yeah,
baseball tee.
yeah,
And I don't know. I studied philosophy of science for like 10 years, and that's what I teach for school and everything. And I was super stoked to rep you. I remember wearing the Allegiant shirt to like a Gojira concert and nerding out with some people there who were all like geologists and shit. And
yeah,
like,
yeah. No, it's really awesome when like half your audience is from NASA.
exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
but like I'll never forget. We were. It was actually on the Copper Crab podcast. They like I think Cheney was going off about bands that sing about science and like how it's like it was a hard thing to hear. It was like a perspective that I didn't really share, but at the same time I'm like, well, that is, you know, her point of view holds water too. You know what I mean? Like it's valid. Like not everybody is into what we're into.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people have the emotional connection with music because of hardships in their life and stuff like that. It doesn't, it's not always going to be about this. I mean, for you, it was your subject that made you happy, and
Yeah.
that's what it wasn't. It doesn't connect to everyone, but it's still a lot of people, will cry to songs and shit. You know what I mean? Like they'll.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I guess we kind of felt like we had kind of really boxed ourselves into a corner a little bit, and that if we wanted to continue to grow, we had to kind of expand our horizons and really just like, you know what, if you're more emotionally connected with what you're going to perform, then obviously it's going to be better. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what we decided to do from just like a musical standpoint. So yeah, I'm like it's hard to answer questions about the new record because like I just don't know
Yeah.
what it's going to be. I mean, there are certain parts of it that I'm just like, man, this is really, really good. And then we're just so in the beginning stages too. It's like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, I know I'm playing flamenco here.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you guys?
And, I'm playing my balls off here. But
How much do you pre-prod before or pre-production? How much pre-production is there?
well, we've never done as much as we're doing now. So we have everything pre-prod, but the vocals are sketches. So like some of the things need to, we have to change, and that's like what Riley gets an Amaro, and then the band kind of gets together before we start tracking drums on Monday, just in case some of the music needs to change to fit vocals. So, and it's been a very interesting process too, because being very much older than everybody else, there's become, the influences are not, there's not a lot of crossover in the influences. So that's been very hard for me, I think, as much as I don't like to admit it, which probably is a good thing in a way, because it's going to force me to grow. And maybe, because I wrote a whole bunch of music I was super proud of, but I kind of got voted like, hey, this needs to change. And I had to do a lot of rewrites and stuff like that. So, and like as angry and everything as I was about it, maybe it was quality control, and maybe I was too close to the product and everything like that. So it's just gonna be an interesting record. It's gonna be an interesting ride.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't wait, dude.
Those are actually like the most exciting things, like when you don't really know. That's the whole thing. Like, but it's like you have enough energy and enough pull from this project to make this thing, but not like having a veil over it before it's finally done. You pull the veil, and then as the band, you're like, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
Dude. And we've always said it, dude. You always want to get the reaction you want from the record is never going to be your actual reaction when you get to the end of it. You know?
Yeah, it's true. That's super true.
And that's why we just keep fucking making shit.
Yeah. Well, this is also the first record that we wrote as a group. We've never done that before either. So it's always been, I go do my stuff, Michael does his stuff, and then that's how the record comes apart. And then this time it was like, everybody write songs and come together and we'll tweak them as a group. And that was like extremely uncomfortable for me. That was extremely uncomfortable, especially since, you know, people don't have people, you know, necessarily like the same music I like. So like that is kind of a kick in the gut, you know, where it's like, hey man, I got this sick Carcass riff. And then, you know, other guys are like, yeah, Carcass is, you know, I don't dig it, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like, you're killing me. You're keeping me here. And it just, you know, I'm really of the mind that some of the greatest things are kind of like creatively built through conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And
Beatles. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's kind of like this negative overtone to what I'm saying, but I think it all in a positive light. Like it's gonna work great. You know,
that's a weird thing, right? Like my brother was in a band and they all decided to like go their separate ways and do like solo, but like record on each other's projects. They like are a kind of collective thing. And they're like, yeah, like we found we clashed too much. I'm like, but that's where the great music's supposed to come from.
Yeah.
Like you need a manager who's going to like tell you to fight with each other and like collect it at the end. And you're not supposed to get too attached to how you feel about it because it's not about you or something. It's like,
right. And you know,
you can't, yeah.
And there's part of that which is like, hey man, Greg, your ego, like it, I think you're not thinking clearly. I think you're just hurt ego wise, you know, and that's hard to hear. You know, no one likes to hear that. Yeah. I think it's be good, especially when you have faith in everybody that you're playing with, right?
That's what's up.
You know, my wife will tell me, like, if I'm in a really bad way about it, she's like, look, you know, you hired really talented people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that's in the band is really sick at what they do. Of course, they're gonna have, you know, creative, like this, you know, different creative, you know, opinions than you, and like you have to like embrace that because that's kind of what you hired them for, right? And I'm just like, damn it. Yeah.
True.
So you know, as it's been just a painful process for this, like in multiple ways, but I think that like creatively, you know, some of the best albums have come from conflict within. I like say conflict like we're like fighting.
No, yeah, but I know exactly what you're talking about, dude.
Yeah,
just, you know, friction. That's all it is, just friction.
Like, you spend like, you know, 3 months writing a piece of music, and then someone's like, "Yeah, this is not good."
Totally. You're married to a certain riff, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, we should change that riff," and you're like,
"Yeah." It's like, well, why don't you just kill me? Like, you know, would you want to stand on my head as you push me underwater? It's great. Yeah. So, you know, but you know, it's easy kind of like to get caught up in that, but I think that it's gonna all be positive at the end. And it's an experience, like, you know, a life experience that I've never had. So, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing what the product's gonna be at the end.
So are we,
either way, it's sick. It's a sick like life, like learning, creative experience. You know,
sculpting a sculpture with other hands.
Yes. Yeah. Doing a tattoo, like a 5-person tattoo.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's once it's there, it's there. There's no.
But if they're all sick artists, that person most likely will have a dope piece on their back, dude.
That's exactly right. It's all the trust, and based on you hear a little, what everybody brings, and you're just like, oh, dude, that's sick. And then the other parts that you're not too sure about, it's like, oh, well, let's just talk about it. And the realization that it's like, hey man, don't get upset, you're all on the same team, you're all working for something. No one's like going out of their way to sabotage you.
Yeah.
Right? That's like your internal ego monologue that's like, why the fuck are they doing this to me? It's like, dude, come on. Logically, you're being an idiot. Like, let's come to, let's talk it out. We know it'll turn out great. Like, everybody's super good at what they do.
Everybody's putting their time into it, so that they want to fucking be there.
Yeah, no one's gonna do something malicious, because that makes no sense.
Can we talk about how insane of a guitar player Michael Stansel is? Like, for being like how young he is, like that. I mean, that guy just fucking like blows my mind, dude. I don't understand. I mean, obviously I like you more, but Michael Stansel is.
Oh, dude! When he joined, I was like, you're gonna get ALS. That's what I said. Like, you can't be this good. It's just not fair to the rest. You have to go down, right?
It's a Jason Becker reference for everyone.
Yeah,
Totally.
put that out.
Totally.
Everybody's gonna be like, you're such a fucking asshole.
No, everyone loves Jason Becker. That was the best guitar player in the
Jason
world.
Becker.
Like, who the fuck doesn't like Jason Becker?
Yeah,
but
it's just like, yeah, probably Jason Becker would laugh at that. I would hope.
Yeah,
It's like, you're too good.
Rumor
too
has
good.
it he's not doing too good right now.
No. Rumor has it he's doing good now.
Yeah,
Oh, he's bouncing back?
Yeah,
Fuck
bouncing
yeah,
back.
dude.
He's back. He's back.
Sick.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like scary for a second there.
Oh, I know. I was that's
He's home now, right?
yeah. He's home. He's fine. Yeah. He just
Good.
had like a breathing issue for a little while.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's like, people. I don't even want to talk about this really, but that if that were to happen, to lose that guy would probably be the hardest one out of any musician for me to lose. Like that.
Yeah.
Like Jason Becker is like.
He's
I mean,
an icon.
He's an icon. I mean, he's the guy. Like, for me, he's like for the shred world. Like, he's number one, and for especially where he could have been if ALS didn't take over. Like, he was it. That was it. That was the number one guitar player in the world.
He's a multiple anomaly.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
anomaly in multiple ways. Anomaly in his playing, anomaly in his
Writing with
condition.
his eyes.
Like getting ALS and then, getting his diagnosis and then still being with us here today, right now, after that diagnosis, fucking 30 years ago, 40 years ago, some shit like that. And it's wild. So that's just the anomaly, multi-anomaly, dude.
Back when I was
Sorry, just writing with the eyes thing. That watching that documentary, dude. This is actually talking about Aurelia Cast. We were fucking watched it the day before we did that pod, and we actually did like a little Joel Anthony review of the fucking documentary on the podcast.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we had it fresh, and it was just like that documentary. I actually want to rewatch that again. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, me too. It's called Not Dead Yet.
There you go.
Yeah.
Back when I was Casey's music student, he gave me and my friend who were also taking lessons from him Air, the like tabs to Air, and got us started on the Jason Becker catalog.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
I
What a
didn't
good
follow up
teacher.
on so much, but
Right.
I was like, this is amazing. This is the right thing to
And
be
the
giving me right now.
The technology he uses to talk to his family and shit, that's crazy too. Doesn't he have like eyeglasses that follow his eyes?
No,
And-
his family created a language for him.
Yeah, so he has to look at a screen, and then there's boxes on the screen, and he like zones in on.
So there's it's like looking at tic-tac-toe, and there's certain letters in this box, letters in this box. First you put your eyes at the box. That means that you're
The
relegated
letters,
to those letters.
the
and then
word
you do
starts with
another-
one of
and then-
those.
Then you do another up or down, and that means that you're E or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
so like, and his dad created it for him just to like talk to him. And
Dude,
like,
it is fucking hilarious though, listening to
oh, he talks shit
them
and
talk,
just like he's all
dude,
funny
because
and
he's
like
talking shit and fucking dude, totally fucking cutting his dad and I don't know if he does his mom, but he definitely fucking throws his dad under the bus a few times, dude.
It's those jokes that made me feel comfortable going, I hope you get ALS, you know?
exactly. That's
Like,
why we had to do a little
obviously has
background on it.
really wicked
Yeah.
sense of humor.
That's
so.
why we were
exactly.
gonna get to it. Yeah,
That's why
totally.
we had to break that down a little bit, because that that's back to Michael. Like, he is just like
Unreal.
a phenom. He was 22 years old when I first saw him, or 21 years old when I first saw him play.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool, you're better than like pretty much everyone. So where did this come from? And he's like wearing a black metal shirt and just like shredding everyone. I'm like, okay, these are oxymorons. All right, so I get it. That's fun. But where did you get the dichotomy of like loving black metal but shredding like all guitar
there's
players out of the
some
water?
definitely Norwegian flair in there, no doubt. I hear some Thorns influence in some songs, some old school Thorns. I don't know if you know about that band, Craig, but they're
Craig.
did I say Craig? Sorry, dude.
I didn't
Greg.
hear Craig.
Dude, I didn't catch it. Keep
I
going.
probably didn't even say it. Joel's just trying to fuck with me right now.
Listen,
But yeah, dude, it's a famous name in the Norwegian scene, and there's just certain aspects of not necessarily the riffing, but like the punching, the punchy parts where you guys have your punches in certain songs. It kind of just like it's similar style to the way that dude would write his punchy parts in his songs. Yay!
Yeah. Like I can't like speak highly enough of Mike. Like he's apart from me. He's been in the band the longest. So like this is his 8th year, you know, that's incredible to me. But also like, it's not even just the guitar playing that blows me away about Mike. It's just that he's the one who programs all our gear, right? He programs the live set. Like we got a lighting rig. He figured out how to program all that. I'll sit there and go, make it do this. And he figured that out, right? I'm like completely useless. I'm like, Mike, I'm a classical guitar player. Make my amp sound good. I don't know how the fuck this works. If you think
a
it's
young guy,
good, I'll play it, you know.
26 now, yeah.
He's 26. Oh yeah,
26 now. Okay,
He
yeah.
joined the
His
band when he was,
connection
what, like 19?
to tech is so much different than us, dude.
Yeah, I mean, well, his favorite band is Cynic.
Oh fuck yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Me and him have that. Every time I see him, we give a high five, because I have the story. I told Mike the story of me and Masvidal doing the high five and then doing the interlocked fingers and like dropping down. So every time I see Mike, he goes like, "What's up, dude?" But he remembers every time and just does the interlock fingers, and then we drop down. It's like,
but incredible all around, and just a great dude. Like I needed
Totally.
help the other day, and he's like, he just came over. I bought him a guitar. That's what I did. I was like, I need to thank him for it. And he's always wanted a Telecaster. So I bought him one in January. It still hasn't shown up yet. So I got sick. I'm like, hey, Mike, I bought you a guitar. Like, what? Like, well, you deserve it, sir. Like, put up with my shit.
yeah.
My
Can I be in your
crazy
band?
neurotic.
I wish I was as good as Boo Boo to fucking play in a band with you and Mike on each side, because you guys are, I mean, and Boo Boo playing second bass, because I love Brandon's like me and him. That was my my show guy in Sacramento. Like me and him would always go there. We'd compare shorts, because me and him like wear shorts to everything. And like he posted a video kind of recently, and I was like, dude, he was wearing pants. I'm like, dude, we're done. This is done. This is not another sweetheart.
On another level.
Totally.
I don't.
You have some of the dude, your band right now. That's what I'm saying. Like your band like has like, I mean, but I mean, it should have already been this. It should have already been way bigger than it is, in my opinion. And I've told you this a million times, and I've video FaceTimed you do this a million times. But you guys should have like on the At the Gates Get Back Together tour. You guys should have been right under them. You guys like have been like way too low on the bill every time you come through town. I'm like, oh cool, Allegion's like second. Cool, dude. Well, I'm gonna leave after them, so that's pretty tight that they're second. Like I always kind of like attributed it to like bad management and stuff, right? Am I right? Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, who knows, right? I think that, you know, constantly having member turnover, I think that kind of says something. And
Who doesn't have that though? Like
yeah,
fucking
I guess that's
AC/DC?
true. Like look at death. Right? I like, if you want to talk about member turnover, I was like, yeah, death.
Callback, Frank Zappa.
Yeah.
I mean, there was only
Oh,
two albums
yeah.
that had two of the same lineup. The rest of the albums, out of 80 plus albums, were all different people.
No,
Yeah.
you guys are making me feel so much better. I always just like, we can't keep
That's what
it.
we're here for, dude.
Dude, we're part of the California death scene, the most incestuous metal scene that's ever existed.
Yeah.
Like we've like we literally like went like on tour as like Decrepit Birth, but it was like
Oh, we lost audio on Joel.
Joel's
Joel,
gone.
no audio. What'd you
That
do?
sounded like a really good story.
Dude,
Hello,
you really?
can you hear me?
There,
Can you hear
yeah,
me?
what
You're
the
back.
fuck did you do?
What
I
happened?
don't know, dude. My fucking internet connections is shredding. But oh, your internet connection's unstable, it's saying, dude.
Oh, dude. That's
Dude, it might
them
get weird.
fucking Aptos Mountains, dude.
Should I not
No,
do the
it's-
pod there next week?
No, yeah, I know. We're here for the business version of Comcast, but no. There was basically it was of me, Casey, and Dan from Odious Boredom in Decrepit Birth for a while. Like it was literally like you could just like
Everybody but me.
you
You
could
guys
just
are like, peace. You guys are like, later,
Like,
dude.
peace
We're
out,
going to
like-
Europe. We're going to Europe, dude.
all right, the next man's Decrepit Birth, and just change the banner, and like one person leaves and comes back. And that's like the different band now. I don't know. It's like, I mean, pretty much. Yeah, it's such a. I mean, in that niche kind of spectrum of music, it was definitely not many people to choose from that could keep
And
up.
we were
kind
all
of thing.
homies, so it's just like
We were all
it's-
friends, and we were all hanging out on parties
Yeah,
and
you
stuff
skip
together.
you skip the whole fucking process of getting to know somebody, making sure they're good in the jam space. You know all that. We've already shared the fucking room together. Everybody's kicking it together. We're all fucking homies. So it's just like, oh yeah,
Everybody's seen each
I'll
other.
learn your
yeah,
music.
yeah, or balls.
We've seen everybody's penis. It's good. We're ready to
Yeah.
roll.
I tried to get them to see my penis in what was it? Charlotte. It was in Chicago. We were all fucking
I've
swimming
seen
in
your
the
penis,
pool.
dude.
Dude, we
You
were
peed
swimming
on the
in the,
van once, and I looked.
and I was
over
like,
and saw your
dude,
penis.
why the fuck am I showering in shorts right now, dude? I gotta wash my ass and balls.
Hey,
right now.
Casey, we're talking about everybody's penis, just to catch you up. I know you left. So
Oh, awesome. Yeah. I'm
So I
glad,
kept on the whole time we
join
were
it
in the
this
shower.
time.
I just kept threatening that I was gonna take my shorts off, dude.
Oh yeah. It's not
I
trying
really
show people
wanted
the
to,
small
dude. I was
truth.
like, dude, I played football for fucking 2 years, dude. I've showered with dudes before, dude. It's chill. All the guys who didn't play sports was like, no,
this
dude,
is
keep
the
them on,
funniest
dude.
conversation I have heard.
These
That's
are
why
tourists.
he's all about the
Shower
sandals.
dudes. It's cool. It's fine. Like
This is
I
why.
feel there's so many gems in this podcast already. I wish you should just take little snippets of everything. And then, Hero Circuit City put his balls. I see it on his face. It's cool, man. I shower with dudes. You just chop all these out. That's your preview for this episode.
Yeah.
Gonna break records.
Please,
Most listened to podcast.
at least do a super cut for me and Joel and be like, dude, listen to how what realms you guys went into.
That's what I love about I listen to other people's podcasts and stuff, and they're all like professional and stuff. Ours just slowly degrades into like ball and dick jokes, and I love it to death. Like it's like
I love it to death, dude.
like
I
a lot
don't-
of, and it brings out stuff out of people, like guests and stuff. Like we just slowly get like more.
Yeah.
I mean, Greg, you're just who you are sober, and it's amazing.
yeah,
I
you're
will
killing it, bro.
slowly slip things out as the
We
We
are
are-
just being, we're the clowns while we're trying to learn about you, dude.
We are the
Yeah.
Beavis and Butthead of podcasts,
yeah, exactly.
basically. Yeah.
We want the dumbest shit. We want the dumbest content. Like fuck everyone with their like serious stuff. Like, oh, like what did you feel inside? It's like, no, we talk about like balls and stuff. Like we talk about like the Beavis and Butthead of like peeing and like all the things. Like, and that's what I love about doing this. Like,
Yeah, dude.
if it was all professional and like like mapped out, I'd probably be like bummed on it. I'd be like,
Maybe if we start actually getting paid for it, we'll change our ways. Dude.
I don't. I mean, you guys can take. I don't want to get paid for it. I just want to fucking drink this
dude,
non.
Oh shit! Coming with the
What the
Pliny,
fuck?
dude. That's what's up, dude. That's a real
Crazy.
beer right there, bro. That's a fucking man's beer right there. That's
Okay.
fucking beer of the year for like 8 years in a row, dude.
Yeah,
Dude,
I've never
Pliny the
actually
Younger,
tried that
though.
one.
Oh no,
But
it's the
I know all about
younger,
it.
but that's
It's
the
the
one
younger.
the fucking one that literally you have to wait like 3 hours in line to get
Yeah,
a
yeah.
growler of one growler per person.
That's
So
not even that good.
so Greg, I know you have some sort of association with nuclear power trio. I don't want to
yes.
I don't want you to have to explain that, but what
Okay,
are
I
you
give him too much trouble. The boss is a fucking cruel ass motherfucker.
what would you say if someone asked who is nuclear power trio and wanted to check them out?
Well, it's, obviously Mr. President Trump and, President Vladimir Putin and Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un. I mean, that's obviously who it is.
What's the name of the last release?
A Clear and Present Rager.
What are the song
It's
titles
so
on
good.
A Clear and Present Rager.
Don't piss off Supreme Leader, dude.
Ground by the Pyongyang. The Fusion Collusion.
I love the fusion collusion, dude. That is my jam. We jammed that on the way out of the studio today on the way to lunch, and we're like, dude, this is this shit right now.
Awesome.
Dude, it's super good.
I'll tell my boss. I'm sure he'll be like, of course, because I'm perfect. And
A manager of that group sent me that about 6-7 months ago, and it was on full rotation downstairs. Like it was.
Robert Downey Jr. sent that to you? Sick. Man.
Yeah.
No, I've never had such a different like experience when I'm listening while watching the video versus not watching the video. It was completely different. It was.
Did they
so
get
weird.
signed to anything? Is it signed to any label?
I think, they're on Metal Blade. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna try to maybe put I can't play it then because they'll sue us for all the pennies we got.
No.
Metal Blade is a
Cutthroat industry.
lovely institution like that. They have to protect. You don't want to fuck with these three people, right? Like they'll just, dude. we tried to do. I was sitting there and we had this like marketing campaign about we were gonna call it the Base Off, right? Like Face Off or whatever. And then like I don't remember who like Vlad was going against, but like the guy just like out shredded Vlad, and then it was just like black bagged him and dragged him off. It was fucking weird, man.
Fuck, dude. I don't want to fuck
crazy.
with these guys at all, dude.
Yeah, no. And there's like lots of like, I don't poop. I'm better than you. Like, dude, it's weird.
So,
I mean, I feel like Trump's like an underrated shredder. Like he can play the 8th string and he can just shred like a real like gnarly like.
But he only plays the 8th string if it really needs the 8th string.
Yeah,
Those
he doesn't-
1 through 5, it's kind of muddy for him. But after that, he could pull it off fucking nice, dude.
there's a lot of flamenco in the songwriting too. It's
Yeah,
It
definitely.
Sounds like he might have done some classical studies in college after he really
it's
hated
weird,
high school.
man. He's like, go get me Burger King, come back, watch me play this, and then do it. Like, it's weird, man. When I got the call, I was just like, what? Like, it's weird. It's the weirdest gig I've ever had. I remember when I was like, I put up a video on Instagram. I'm like, so some people know I've accepted the job as an executive assistant to the president of the U.S. And I'll never forget Dean from Archspire was like, I have so many questions. It just trailed off.
Oh man, that's awesome. I'm
Yeah,
glad
that's
they got
fucking
signed to Metal Blade. That's fun.
Yeah, dude.
That was the main reason I think the band kept going, because it was just supposed to be one song, if story is true, and then tour offers started coming in, like crazy tour offers, and it was like they only had one song, so it was kind of dumb. And then Metal Blade was like, "We will sign you." It was dumb. It's dumb. It's crazy.
Do you think they could ever play a live show?
Yes, there's actually going to be, I think, like right after Allegiant finishes, I have to go and there's going to be a streaming event. I don't know much of the, like,
I'll fly. I'll go.
Yeah, I know. Well, like their agent is crazy. I forget who the agent is, but I was in the meeting, and they, like, I've never seen anything like this. I'm sitting there, of course, so like it's 3 executive assistants, right? And I'm sitting there with Nick and Pete, and then we're just like listening to these agents, like, and they're sitting there and chopping up the world. I've never seen anything, and we're just like, the bands that we're in can't get these opportunities, but these 3 jackasses gets this opportunities, and it's just fucked, man. But at least the gig, pays well. Like, it's like, fine, we'll do what you want,
You guys are lobbying for a good tour,
Yeah, I don't know. They're like,
No, they pay people to lobby for it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's, there was talks. South Korea was in the talk. COVID kind of like put a dent in most of these at the time, but then there was talk of Korea and South America, and then I don't know. I heard they got banned in Russia, which is weird. Kind of find that very strange. I just heard that this week that the album is banned in Russia, which seems pretty odd.
Maybe he's not stoked on his performance. You never know.
How could you not be?
I mean, Vlad, he's a perfectionist. He wants it. Vladimir wants it. He needs that to be like just perfect. Maybe he missed
out of the 3.
Yeah,
that's true. Are like the best looking, the most in shape.
He's probably gonna last the longest.
Yeah, right. I mean, he's riding around on bears with no shirt on. I won't even do that. The guy plays piano. That guy does everything. He's a weird guy.
Oh man. So where could is there a physical copy or something that people can buy of this?
Oh yeah, I actually have one. Look. There's the big middle finger.
Nice.
Yeah.
Looking amazing, dude.
But I think they should have a full length coming out next year. I think they were supposed to go on and track it this year, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
The one that I heard from the manager that's the one that just came out, right? Or kind of recently?
Yeah, that one came out October. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's a slapper.
But yeah, the next one will be super rad too. I think they're trying to get all these, like, I heard they're getting like 2 guest vocalists or something like that to do a couple of songs.
Other high up leaders for sure, right?
Yeah, they're crazy.
Angela Merkel would be sweet, dude.
Wait, who?
Angela Merkel.
Oh.
Or the New Zealand Prime Minister. What's her name? That'd be rad too.
Yeah.
We're going so deep. We don't.
Or the dude from Indonesia.
We got past the big 3, and then we're like, who else now, dude?
Who else is a world leader, right?
They got banned from Metal Archives, which was the coolest thing that's happened lately. That was
banned from Metal Archives.
Yeah, they got banned.
That's so good.
That was like, I was so happy that day. I read that. It was like, banned. Oh yeah, I looked because of course they made everybody like cats that one day,
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, I should check in on the boss and see like what kind of stupid cat they put in with the fucking comb over thing, right? And yeah, they did. Like they were up there. I say we, like I'm involved in this shit. Like
Yeah.
it was, and then it was just like, oh yeah, like it was up there at one time, and they're just like, I don't know why they got banned. To Prague, that's more like Joe Sat. I don't do that. But it was the greatest because I don't like that site, so I was cheering. It was great. It's like this is the validation. First Vampire Freaks, then Pornhub, now now
Metal
Metal
Archives.
Archives. The circle is complete. We're banned everywhere.
They're banned.
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
I get
It's like
paid.
it's
kind
an
of-
editorial.
all this Legion talk, you think we all the time, but it's really
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, I'm there. I show up.
Yeah.
The guy at Sandwich.
You're executive assistant. Like you
Yeah.
have to be there. You
It's lots
do
of
everything.
fast food. Lots of fast
Yeah. Oh my god, that was my favorite part of
dude.
this night right there.
Fuck yeah, that was
that.
amazing, dude.
That's good.
What do you think, guys? What time is it?
I
Think it's
wanted
probably-
to
Go for it.
quickly shout out the bands we played in Colorado with were Scepter and Witch Hands and Infaseer, who I know broke up, but I'm sure their dudes are doing something else. Simon and Connor and Adam were fucking shredders, and so if you are listening this far in, those dudes are sick. And check out Colorado death metal for sure.
That's really cool to hear because I've never heard of any of them, and that's
yeah.
awesome. I'm so out of touch, man. I always wonder. I was like, man, when COVID lifts, I'd like to go to some local shows just to see what's going on because I don't know any bands anymore.
Yeah.
Like when you're not on tour, the last thing you want to do is go to a show, so don't go and see.
Yeah.
Can
for
I
sure.
come? Can I come visit you and just stay for like a weekend?
Dude, come out and stay for longer.
A weekend.
Come out and
Okay.
stay for longer.
It's in order.
I'll
You
plan
do
a
it
I'll plan a
remote, dude.
show. I'll plan a show. Like I want to do like when things start clearing up and shows start opening again. I want to go like travel and go to shows with my friends again. Like I just want to like travel and go to like a show that means something to me with my friends that means something to me and just do that all over again because it's been like literally this year's gone by so fucking quick, by the way. But I guess as you get older, every year does. But
Mhm.
this year in particular was
It's
very
March, man.
yeah. I mean, I'm seeing fucking like my search my memories of Facebook. It's just all like making COVID jokes a year ago. Like I'm
Yeah.
like COVID, like it's been like a thing for like a year now, and it feels like it's been a few months. It's like it's through or like I can't even talk right now. But I remember the first time I peed, dude. It was weird. Anyways, you guys want to talk?
Let's wrap shit up, dude.
Oh,
Greg,
on
Greg.
that.
It's so fucking awesome having you on. We're blessed by your appearing here.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh, dude, thank you guys so much. This has been a blast.
We
Like,
cool,
love,
dude.
We love
I
your
really
band.
appreciate it. Like, I wasn't lying when I saw this. I was like, oh, I would love to go and hang out with those guys,
Yeah.
Sweet,
but I'm
dude.
not from California.
And my drum set appears in the video for Stellar
For
titled
Stellar,
Disruption
That's right.
and Extremophiles B. I think you shot 2 videos with it like the
No,
same day.
okay, yeah.
Yeah. So Brandon was
dude.
playing my drums in that because he was on tour routing into that shoot, but he didn't have his own drums on tour. So Riley picked up my drum set from Casey's music studio, drove him up to LA, and he just did the shot with. So that's my claim to fame is my drums appeared in your band.
So you're a millionaire.
So I'm a millionaire basically.
Dude, we should
That's how he
have.
got his. That's how he got his teaching gig, dude.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. Dude, thank you very much. And I mean it, guys. Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Dude,
Dude,
I love
And
it,
it's
man.
really great to meet all of you. I mean, of course, I've known Joe, but like, I've known most of you by your reputation. So it's really nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, dude, I was excited about it because I've heard stories from Joel and they were always good ones and stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, dude, Greg's totally seems like a dude. I just need to be fucking. He needs to be in my life.
He's a lightweight, man. He's like a free, like one and done. And then the clothes start coming off. And then he starts talking about how his kid's his friend. It's fucking weird, man. Come hang out with him. We'll make believe he likes the Chiefs, you know, whatever.
Oh man,
For being too dark.
I haven't smiled this much in an episode. I don't think. Thank you for showing up, brother. I love you, dude.
I love you too, guys.
I love all you guys, and we love all you listeners and watchers out there. Thank you so much for fucking sticking with us. 25 episodes. It's fucking crazy. That's gone by as quick as fuck too, dude. Not just the year, but that 25 episodes is fucking whoop. Yeah. But yeah, dude, fucking subscribe if you haven't. Hit that bell if you want to be notified right away when these come up. And yeah, Cali Death fucking Facebook, Cali Death Instagram, all that shit's going. Greg, you want to plug anything real quick on Allegaeon?
Nah.
All right, he does about it, dude.
That's like guitar, the biggest plug. Nah. Well, now I want to know what he's up
to. He does guitar lessons. If you need to play guitar better, Greg is like one of the best guitar players in the world. So please
there you go. Seek him out.
That's such a lie. But yeah, that'd be great. I just paid a lot of money in taxes. I'm destitute. Yeah. More of the better.
Yeah. Hit him up. He's a fucking shredder.
Right on, guys.
Reminded me to do my taxes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. It's tax day. That's how we celebrated tax day today.
Yeah, like, tax day.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm really sorry that you had to ask that. I hope you have.
Well, I got time, so let's do it.
All right. I love you guys.
Joseph's got to fucking go quick now. But yeah, I love all you guys too, and come back next week. We'll be here.
Cheers.
Cali Death Podcast.